Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Gosh. He went scissors
went
again. I got him
scissors.
with rock.
Oh, it's that rock, man.
God, I'm getting rocked by the rock.
You're gonna get rocked. You are gonna get rocked by the rock.
Are you ready for the
All
shock?
right, bring the pain here.
Shock for the rock. In 3, 2, 1. Bring in the pain.
Ooh, I shouldn't put it on the back of my my knee like that.
Don't
Good
put
gosh.
it by your bone. Put it by fat.
He has such a weird expression of pain.
It went down to my toe.
Ooh.
It's hurting.
You're even peaceful in pain.
Well, it's on a weird nerve.
It's an odd expression.
We are so opposite, but yet the same, Neo.
Dunkin' is the official coffee of the KVJ Show. America runs on Dunkin'. The KVJ Show is now live on 97.9 WRMF.
It's time to wake up and let the weirdness begin. It's the KVJ Show to start your morning. Kevin is the host, and his skin pigment is whiter than Casper the Ghost. Virginia sounds like this. Nickname Vicious Beast. So don't get her pissed. It's Jason, called Like a Spaz, and they love to talk about Bigfoot and stats. So get ready, here we go. You're listening to 97.9 with the KVJ Show.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Hump
Pumped.
day.
Pumped to be here.
Pumped and humped.
Pump for humped.
Pumped for humped. I like that. There's that T-shirt slogan.
Somebody had to have come up with that.
Pumped
Right?
for humped.
We make like 3 every day.
You're right.
That's true.
And then we never make the shirts.
Well, the big guy's not here again.
Yes, so they sent Kevin out to Texas, where everything's bigger, and he is out there at another radio conference. I know people are like, really? Another one?
It is weird how he's going away to work while we are here to still work, and then there's no Kevin. And then we get emails, why does the show sound so different? Well, that's because the host isn't here.
So Kevin got like nominated for this really cool thing in our company, and it's like, okay, who are like the next people that are going to be awesome and stuff? And that's basically what it is. So only 2 people from every town got nominated, and Kevin was one of 2 out of a couple hundred people that work here. So it's an honor. Definitely, and hopefully he's going to get like all kinds of ideas and share our ideas. So in the long run, we think it's great for the station, for the KVJ show. It just sucks this week because it throws everybody off balance.
Well, here's the issue. Here's what we got right now. This is what we got going on behind the scenes. We, as of, I think, yesterday or the day before, we thought we were going to be doing best of. Virginia thought she was going to be out of town. Me and Dennys were already planning on throwing replays together. And just like that, Kevin says, no, you guys are doing the show on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Like, what?
Well,
Like
here-
after the show on Tuesday, we found out.
So here's the issue. Because it was such a late notice, nobody knew that. We don't have anybody behind the scenes to answer phones. Right now, all we have behind the scenes is Suits running KVJ TV.
And the phones.
If somebody-
Everything.
Well, if somebody calls right now, nobody can answer the phone, or we have to live on the air go answer it.
Suits is literally working KVJ with his hands and answering the phones with his feet. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool to
And
watch.
traffic and loading commercials and audio.
So basically, it really can't get done. So here's my question, Virginia. You know more about the radio laws because you've been around a lot longer. You're a lot older than me.
No laws when you're drinking claws.
We're not drinking claws, sorry. Not yet. Can I put this out on the air and say, I want to hire
No.
a phone screener,
You can't.
and I will buy them breakfast
No,
for a week.
you
but,
can't.
But you put it under the umbrella of, it's a radio bit.
You're adorable. You can't.
We have no phones. We got nobody manning our phones or womaning our phones or personing our phones.
I had a former intern reach out to us yesterday. Now, this is an intern that's back from like the early 2000s. And she was like, hey, I'm off work on Thursday. I can come in there and help you guys.
Yeah, well, that's definitely illegal.
It's definitely illegal, but at least we know her.
But my whole thing was, it's kind of like, oh, it's a radio bit. We can hire, you know what I mean? It's when somebody helps us out for like a Weird Wednesday. What's the difference between them helping us out for a Weird Wednesday and them answering our phones?
Because if you say you're hiring somebody and then you bring them in the building, you set off all kinds of protocol and HR issues.
I think it's an HR issue more
it
than
becomes
anything.
like a lawsuit.
Do we have HR? Because I remember the last company we were at, we did not have HR.
We do.
We have it this.
we do.
Okay.
They're hidden back there.
I mean, I swear we went through about two companies where we did not have HR whatsoever. It was lawless around these parts.
It was. We got accustomed to it.
Okay, I told Dennys, I'm like, Virginia's going to shoot this down because I'm sure it's probably illegal.
It is. I mean, it's a fun concept. Hey, anybody off the street?
Well-
Pizza guy, you're not working till tonight. You want to work now?
Oh, they're going to get paid, baby. Oh, breakfast galore. I'm going to give them a pancake party 7 days a week.
Yeah, I think we'd get in trouble.
All right, so here's what we got, everybody. We've got us answering the phones during commercial break. We may not get to you.
Well, so we threw in some long songs to help Suits get a little bit of time in there in between.
Nice.
So we're prepared on our end.
Okay, we're
I'm
ready.
prepared to do a dirt.
All right,
Yeah.
well, let's do this thing.
It's the KVJ Dirt of the Day. It's the KVJ Dirt of the Day. Virginia, take it away, cause you know we need that Dirt of the Day.
We now know what is going to happen to Kevin O'Leary's wife. You know, she was the one who was actually driving the boat in that fatal boat accident that happened in Ontario, Canada. Kevin O'Leary is the guy from Shark Tank. So his wife was the one that killed 2 people with the boat. They now know officially what's going to happen to them. So I'll share that with you coming up in just a second. Before we get into that, ooh, this is juicy. Demi Moore is on Good Morning America talking about how Ashton Kutcher cheated on her.
So she has to be paying a publicist to be promoting this book because this book is on every single website I go to.
As it should be. I mean, she's bringing the juice.
I asked if it was true. He admitted it right away, and I think I felt like I could barely take a breath. There are parts of what occurred with this relationship ending that were a level of devastating for me that wasn't really just about that relationship. It was really about my whole life. It was about being the 2-year-old who wasn't safe, that this really represented that I'm not lovable. And that's not about him. That's all just about me.
Does she have sincere voice right now during the talk show?
Yeah.
To sell it?
That's heavy.
Yeah, she sounds like she took that kind of hard.
Oh, the 2-year-old that wasn't safe. I mean, that is heavy. Yeah. Moving on.
The 2-year. So what does that mean? The 2-year-old wasn't safe.
That means when she was 2, her parents didn't protect her. Something bad happened to her, and she's carried that pain.
Bringing back those repressed memories.
Exactly.
So she thinks it's not about Ashton, it's about her own internalizing.
God, yeah. See, I thought she was talking about Ashton there. I'm like, what? Did you know when he was 2?
Jessica Simpson just revealed a picture yesterday on Instagram, and I was like, damn, girl, did you see? In the past 6 months, she has lost 100 pounds. She gave birth to her baby 6 months ago, and I remember when she gave birth to the baby, I was like, oh, man, poor Jessica. It was a rough pregnancy. She put on a lot of weight. She was tipping the scales at 240 pounds.
That's the most I've ever weighed. Was like 240 something.
Can you imagine that on a chick? Jessica Simpson was like a size 2.
Yeah, it was
To go from a size 2, and she is tiny. She's like 5'1", maybe.
It was tough. Anytime I dropped my donut, it would be tough to bend over to get it.
So good for you, Jessica Simpson. 100 pounds in 6 months. She added that she's so proud of herself and really feels like herself again. So, wow, amazing. And finally here, as promised, yes, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, his wife has officially been charged with careless driving after that fatal boating accident that happened last month. They were boating in Ontario when their boat slammed into another boat, killing 2 passengers that were just like standing on the deck of the boat. They were just hanging out having cocktails, and all of a sudden this other boat is on top of them and kills them. Police did pull video of the event. Now, Linda O'Leary, Kevin's wife, I guess, was driving at a not safe speed. Now, she wasn't flying. She was going 17 miles an hour, but they say that was a little bit too fast to be going on this dark lake. The other boat was cruising without navigation lights, so the driver of that boat was charged as well. So everybody got charged.
Now, when that happens, let's say she killed somebody and it proves she wasn't drinking or anything like that. Can you go to jail for that? Or is it always just one of those things, it's an accident and you have to pay?
So both. The sentence that she's been charged with careless driving with a fatal boating accident carries a maximum sentence of 18 months. So she could could do up to 18 months in jail. Because
Probably won't.
They're saying it wasn't her fault, but she was speeding. She could also get $1 million fine as well for that. But the other guy who was driving around with no lights on,
That's a big no-no.
that should have been a big no-no, right?
Because you can't see. At nighttime on a boat, you cannot see anyone. You have
Right.
to have those lights on.
I agree, but in Canada, the maximum penalty for that is a $10,000 fine and no jail time.
What is all that a boot? Come on, Canada.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? 2 people died, and I guess it's just they're calling it, hey, it was an accident. No one intended for this to happen,
mean-
and no one was directly responsible, but they were indirectly responsible.
So she was speeding. He had no lights on. So the combination of both of those is kind of what caused it, right?
It's awful for everybody involved.
It really
'Cause Nobody
is.
wanted anybody to get hurt, and they're all
Absolutely.
just trying to boat and have a good time, and it sucks.
It does, and that's what's going on in your dirt of the day.
This is the KVJ Show on 97.9 WRMF.
What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? What's on your mind? Are you thinking about? What are you thinking about?
Well, we're doing a little show without Kevin this week. He's up in Texas getting some radio knowledge. And while he's gone, though, Dennys is sitting in the big chair. Look at you, Dennys.
It's nice over on this side.
Oh,
It's warm. I
The
feel
power.
Yeah, my posture is much more upright.
You do look very powerful. I see that you've got a new shirt on.
I wore this shirt because you wore the smoky shirt the other day, you know? So.
I'd like to dress together. I'm a big fan of dressing in uniform with my friends. But I feel like I'm the only one that likes that.
You and the elderly.
Yeah, me, the elderly, and very cheesy couples.
Yeah, cheesy couples at the
Yes.
fair that get those matching airbrush shirts.
You guys don't like that?
Not really.
You don't like matching with your mate? I think that's adorable.
I think sometimes it can be cute, but I think you would do it every day.
If I was dating somebody and every time you saw us together, we always had matching outfits, is it annoying or is it cute?
I'd want to fight you.
I think in the right circumstances, it's pretty cool. But aside from that,
No, it has to be sprinkled throughout your life. It
Yes.
can't be all the
Like,
time.
you see us at the food court, we both have matching, you know.
There they are.
Yeah, that
Stupid and stupider.
that would be rough. Denny's, what's on your mind?
all right. So, well, there's a season in Colorado, and I experienced it a few times while I was out there. Where it's called Miller Moth season, where just troves of moths. What it is if the snow melts at a rate earlier than it's supposed to, it reveals these moths cocoons, and they all hatch prematurely. And they all, I mean, we're talking when you're driving, it looks like nighttime because there's so many in the sky. It's crazy.
In the
fir-
daytime, it would look like that.
Yes, in the evening time, you would think it would be like a super overcast day. That's what it would feel like. It would feel like it was overcast.
Do
though
they stay above you, or do they hit you like in the face?
They run into you. So I never experienced this when I was in Colorado living there. I was driving one night and I thought I was hitting bats. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was some sort of phenomenon going on. And everybody's acting so casual as I'm driving. I'm like, how's nobody freaking out about this? So I look on the phone and they're Miller Moth season. So I start talking to my friends and they're like, oh yeah, it happens. They're like, this is pretty bad. They're like, depending on how the snow melts, there can be larger volumes or less volumes. So lately it's been kind of less, but the year I was there, it was one of the record ones they ever had. I had it to the point where every night I closed my door when I came home from work, I would have about 45 in my apartment that I would have
What?
to yeah.
That's rough.
And then they die and then they smell bad. There's a whole heap of things that suck about
So
it.
you thought they were that big enough that you thought they were bats?
Yeah, well, so they're giant moths, and then when you're covered with hundreds of them, it's insane. Every
That's
night,
disgusting.
every night for about 6 nights, it was pretty bad. I couldn't believe it.
To piggyback on what you're talking about, how you brought up bats, when I was up in Pennsylvania, and I couldn't tell if the Pennsylvanians were lying to me or not, but they said at nighttime, especially during the summertime, and that's when we were there, they go, you better protect your head because bats will check you out from upstairs and come down and start pecking at your hair and pecking at your head.
What?
Yeah, if you're walking down out at nighttime, bats will attack you. Is that fact or fiction? Pennsylvania bat people, let me know.
It has to be fact. I was in Stewart or on the island. There's Benihana's there, and we had just finished eating dinner, and we were outside talking. It was a business meeting that we went on. So one of my dad's partners was telling this big story, and he was about to hit his punchline of the story, and this bat swooped down and got stuck in his collar of his shirt, and his neck's going like this, and he's freaking out right before his big punchline.
Yeah,
It ruined his whole story.
I've always been made to
So I think
believe
they swoop.
bats are very territorial, and they'll come for you.
Well, so the reason I bring up the whole Miller moth phenomenon is just something that happens every now and then. There's a new thing happening in Colorado, and I'm so glad I don't live there at the moment. But I guess this is another thing that happens occasionally, is the tarantula migration period.
Oh my gosh, you hate spiders.
Pretty much the same amount of moths that appear, there's the same amount of tarantulas that all hatch in the desert, and they migrate westward to the mountains.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding. My mom sent me a ton of photos of this, and I was like, wow, thank God I'm not there.
Have you ever seen those big, gigantic spiders that live in the desert? They're huge. I don't know if they're the same kind, but the kind that I've seen, they look like large animals.
So, yeah, there's camel spiders over across the pond.
Yes.
And supposedly those, like, troops and stuff will send videos back here, and supposedly they're pretty heinous. Where I've seen one in the corner of a room. They get as large as a shoe, like a basketball shoe. Like a basketball player's shoe. They get gigantic.
That's not fair.
Well, then they have those new the tumbler spiders. I forget what they're called, something like that. But they've adapted to the desert because of the soft, silky sands. They roll. They do cartwheels.
They look like tumbleweeds. They
Imagine
come rolling at you, and then you're like, "Oh my God, it's a spider!"
If a spider was rolling at me, I would be freaking out.
Well, that's what they roll, and then they stop right in front of you. I would have a heart attack.
No,
But-
They play that song. They see me rolling, and then they're
Rolling,
on your
rolling.
face.
But yeah, so I just figured I'd share with you the tarantula migration. So it's going on in Colorado. It's actually on the back end of it right now.
You were freaked out because you had a theory, and maybe it's real. Where we live at, and you've seen it before, Virginia, how horrifying those spiders are.
Yes.
Golden
They're-
orb weavers.
They're giant, but they are very seasonal, and we realized it skipped a whole season until there's been hurricane talk, and we were wondering, does the weather almost push those spiders into our area?
Well,
I don't know.
So here's my theory, and bear with me, but on Village Boulevard, if you have the guts, look up at the street traffic lights. You know how there's multiple wires that suspend those lights in the air? If you
Yeah.
look in between them, there is hundreds of those spiders built webs in there. If you had to be an FPNL guy, it's got to be the roughest gig
Oh
ever
my gosh.
on Village Boulevard. Well, we had that.
Things Dennys could never do.
No.
Stop telling everybody the street we live on.
It's right next to. So anyway,
Village and what?
I mean, everybody knows where we live.
it's a
now.
long road.
Not that long.
Yeah, you're right. So if you look up there, it's pretty horrifying. That one, the storm we had, not the most recent one, but probably about 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
We had a big storm that came close and then didn't hit us. It blew so many of those village spiders into our neighborhood, and we had a whole season of those.
Yeah, is Denny's theory right?
Maybe it blew them off the poles onto your trees.
And then they started reproducing. And
They got stuck in the leaves. They're like, "Oh, this is kind of a cool crib."
It's pretty horrifying to see what lives in those trees, and you have no idea. All these trees are walking underneath. I mean, we're talking. We've seen rats scamper up those things. Yeah, just kind of chilling in a tree, looking at you.
Don't look up, Dennys.
Those spiders their webs are so thick. I don't know if you've accidentally walked through one of them. You can hear it snap. It sounds like a piece of thread snapping.
You walk through the web and you're like, okay, where's the damn spider?
And
Is he on me? Is he in my hair?
Oh.
Bridget in the chat room, she says, I used to live on Village, and I was always creeped out by the spiders. Yeah, people know. The Village spider's known, Denny's.
Well, I don't know if you saw it. The HOA just passed around a newsletter to everybody
Man,
with
don't read that crap.
with the picture of the spider.
It's got like a wanted poster.
It is, but it has a picture of the spider. It says, "Please do not kill these. They're like, though they look vicious and they do bite, they're not poisonous and they're territorial, but don't go near them."
That's a long newsletter.
Yeah, it was a whole thing, and it had a picture of it. I was like, "What are you doing?" Showing
You're
me
right.
This picture?
It's a spider mugshot.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, so they passed it on. They're like, "Don't kill them. Just leave them. They're horrifying looking. We get it, but they won't attack you. They won't go out of their way to attack you."
What's on your mind, Jbird?
So I brought this up before, but I never get an answer, and maybe someone can help me out here. Every time I go on Facebook, every single time, why is it always the only people that come up with their stories or, hey, look what they're doing? It's always somebody that I've dated. And sometimes it'll be, like, there'll be 3 stories up. It'll be a person I dated 5 years ago, a person that I dated. Why? It's like Facebook knows of these memories that come up. They try to show you stuff you don't want to see.
Maybe you're just a player, dude. You're out there in the game.
No, I'm really not. I back in the day, I think I probably dated a lot. I'm too old to be a player these days, Virginia. I don't have it in me.
You can be playing for the AARP.
I'm just saying, why is it that they always show up on something like that? Is it because it shows that I'm looking at their profile pic and that's maybe the most recent thing?
There are algorithms. I don't know specifically what they are, but it would make sense that if somebody was looking at a lot of your stuff, maybe that would put them higher up in your news feed.
Yeah.
If they're looking at you, maybe it figures that you want to be looking at them.
Would you search people's stuff if you knew they knew that you were looking at it? Okay, if you had an ex-boyfriend and you're looking at their stuff,
I would never want them to know.
I know.
Talking about the ex-boyfriends from like way back in the day. No, I look all the time, and no, I do not want them to know.
That's what I'm saying. Like when they come up and they show on my feed, we're talking someone I dated like 9 or 10 years ago. So why is their feed or their time hop? It's only people that I've dated. It's the most bizarre thing.
Maybe they're looking at you, and it's the algorithm.
Or am I looking at? I mean, I think we all look at our exes, right?
Everybody does.
Yeah, I
if
have.
you say you don't, you're lying.
When I had an ex that was getting married, I was like for a month, like, oh wow, look at that wedding picture.
Yeah. Well, you
Could
wonder.
have been me.
Yeah.
You wonder if it's the algorithm's design that if you, while you were dating, there was a lot of interaction between you, so it keeps that person up on your list.
I just wonder if they are, if they're all in cahoots with it. Not my exes, but I'm saying just the whole computer system in general. They can hear you. They know your life. They know what you don't want to see, what you do want to see. I feel like they're after us.
It's Big Brother.
It is. It really is Big Brother. Speaking of, are you caught up on Big Brother, the show?
I am caught up. I did what you said. So you gave me a tip the other day. I don't know if everybody who was watching Big Brother and has it in their DVR. The football ran long on Sunday. So 60 Minutes started late, which meant Big Brother started late. So I missed the whole last 20 minutes because my DVR didn't record it of Big Brother. And I was walking around my house cursing.
Don't you hate when something good?
Oh, I was so mad. And then I came in here and Jbird was like, no, all you need to do is just watch it on demand. It's there. You just need to go find it. I was like, he's right.
Really, it's not that big of a deal.
I watched it on demand.
Really not that big of a
You
deal.
can't fast forward through the commercials.
You were so impressed.
Which is the only knock.
Yeah, you were impressed by it.
I was very impressed because I didn't think about it. I forgot about on demand.
It's like not
It's a
that
backup
impressive.
to your DVR.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
Not that impressive. All right, what's on your mind?
Okay, is this weird? When my sister, my sister Caitlin was here not too long ago.
Sister.
And I loved having them here. It was so fun. It was just too short. But when they were bringing their luggage in, I noticed some of their luggage was the luggage my dad used to have back in the day. Now we're talking like 1970s luggage. I don't know if you remember, like back in the day, like what the Pan Am flight attendants would carry, that blue hard case luggage. Well, I guess my dad had given her some of his old luggage and she was still using it. And I was like, oh, because I love like old reminiscent stuff from my childhood. And that luggage, I just wanted to sit down with it and look at it and rub it because there were so many family trips that we took that all my things were in that luggage. I can tell you every clasp, everything about that luggage because it was so special to me. If I go back up there and visit, because she lives right by my grandma, can I like buy her new luggage and say, hey, here, I bought you this. Can I have the old luggage?
Try to do a deal with her. Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
that tacky to
Yes,
say,
but who cares?
I want that luggage because it's from my childhood?
No way.
People love that stuff. I don't know. I did go to my old house in Lake Park and knocked on the door and said, hey, I used to live here and I buried all my figures here. I'd love just to go back to the backyard and kind of reminisce. And they were way weirded out. Like, no, you're not going in her backyard. They told me I couldn't go back there.
Aww.
So you never know. You could ask. They may get weirded out, but who cares?
Yeah, I think we like things of nostalgia too, because Bird's into the GI Joes. That's a thing from your childhood. So this is essentially your GI Joe.
It's the same thing. Like, I spent so much time with this luggage, and I loved, because it represented fun, going on a trip, doing something exciting, going somewhere. So whenever that luggage came out, it was like, oh.
So I'm not sure how much more time we have, Dennys. I know we've been going for a minute, but this whole luggage conversation remind me of something I need to tell you and confess to you.
What?
But do we have time?
Yeah, confess away, brother.
All right, and I didn't mean to do this. You let me borrow a big piece of luggage, and I never returned it back to you. And
if I gave it to you, sweetie, just know I kissed it goodbye when I gave it to you.
Thank God, because I accidentally left it out in my courtyard, and it rained. And
no, everything I give you, I kiss it goodbye.
Okay.
And I just say, farewell, my friend.
Thunderstorm luggage did not survive, and I apologize.
I knew it when I gave it to you.
It's like Publix bags.
It feels good to confess that, right?
It does. I feel free.
So coming up, I had a really weird dream that I was going to throw at you guys and see if you guys think it means anything. You know, because I know you guys are into the dream interpretation stuff.
I had a weird dream last night, too. It was so weird, I can't tell you about it on the regular show. I can only tell you about it on the podcast.
Oh, you totally hooked up with somebody we know. Is that what it is?
No.
Okay.
It is so bizarre, you're not going to believe it.
All right, well, let's do some dream analysis.
Right. Well, hopefully mine's is as bizarre as Virginia's. We'll find out after these commercials.
Get the info on everything that's going on with us at kvjshow.com.
All right, so weird dream action.
There's so many things that I can't say about my dream last night. I will tell you in the podcast, but it is creepy.
I love doing dream analysis. I do feel like sometimes there's something to our dreams. Then I think there's other times where we just dream about madness and complete that doesn't make any sense.
What'd you dream about, Dennys?
Yeah, we're going to analyze this thing.
All right, so you know how dreams don't really make sense, and I'm not a big dreamer. I don't know what it is quite that causes me to only have like 1 or 2 dreams a year. I'm very, very seldom do I have them.
You probably dream more than that. You just don't remember them.
And that's what they say. And there was a time where I'd had very vivid dreams. So it's weird that I go through ebbs and flows with dreams. Sometimes they're very vivid, and sometimes they're insane. Which this one was kind of insane. So I'm gonna see if there's a hidden meaning behind it that you guys can pull from it, possibly.
Are we in it?
Nobody's in it, really. It's
diva. Oh, I'm not in it. Dang it.
But you know how dreams are. I was walking with a floating whale, and we went to a. You know how it goes. It makes no sense. But
It was a real whale?
It was a giant like whale, like possibly even like a humpback or a sperm whale, one of those. It was a giant one. It would have been cool if it was a narwhal, but no. But anyway, we ended up at a belfry where I was like looking. We were overlooking, and the whale was telling me that I had to get to the sun, and.
The whale was telling you had to get to the sun?
Yeah,
well, your legs are pretty pale. That whale ain't too far off.
Yeah, he was telling me to get sun. He wasn't saying get to it.
You can use a tan.
What happened next, Cheech?
Well, so then next thing you know, I kind of appeared. I was in an ultra lounge, and there was a ton of ghosts around me, and they were all trying to give me spirits. There were spirits giving me spirits, which I think maybe that was just my brain being weird.
Spirits giving you drinks?
Giving me drinks.
Spirits giving you spirits.
Well, so I drank the drink, and I woke up, and I was in an encasement, and I had to break out, and I broke out, and I was in a giant egg. And it had transported me into an egg, and I had.
Are you doing LSD?
This is why I don't dream, I guess. But anyway, so I broke out of this egg, and there was a giant chicken there, and it was the mother chicken, and she was trying to give me all this insight into life, telling me, yeah, I was like, you're the mother chicken, that's cool, but like, so she's giving me all this insight into life.
Teach me, oh mother chicken.
And she told me that I have to get to the sun. It was kind of like the theme of this dream. So she was teaching me how to fly, and so I flew into the sun after she taught me, and when I entered, I exploded into rain, and I drizzled down onto the earth.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a dream so...
That is trippy.
That trippy. Mine are a little bit more, the guy's got the axe, he's chasing me, ABC, kind of...
Yeah, yours are more fear-based, nightmare-based.
Yours is like a Beatles song.
Totally. Well, so...
Yeah, totally like a Beatles song.
After it rained... it was just me. I was like an essence, a cloud in the air, and I was watching. It was my wife, and she was being rained on, and it was drizzling on her skin, and she was rubbing the rain into her skin.
Oh, this is clearly about having a child. I think it is.
Is that what you think all that means?
I think, yeah, because it's a big process. I know it's something you guys discuss and talk about, and the rain going into her skin is kind of the symbolism of everybody kind of being within the same family.
And you did say it might have been a sperm whale.
It's true, and it's one of the few whale names I know.
And it's almost like something you're thinking about, and it's a journey, and there's a process to this journey.
Has Jen brought up having a child?
Oh yeah, we've definitely discussed it. It's more so.
Does she have a time frame?
So she's younger than I am, so she's got a little more. But I mean, I was looking at, we had to do something where we needed our birth certificate. So I was looking at it, and I was like, I got my birth certificate. I never bust that thing out, So I busted it out, and I was reading, and it shows the age of my parents at the time. And like right now, this to the end of the year would be when my father had me at the age of 35. And so I was thinking probably somewhere in that ballpark is a good one, because my father now, I believe, is 71. At 35, so I'm like half his age.
Gotcha.
Roughly, give or take. So
and you think it's a sweet spot?
I think it's a sweet spot because my parents always, they encouraged grandkids and such, but they were more so make sure you're ready for it and that you've done what you want, because they're afraid of, a lot of parents or young people jump into it and then neglect their own lives and then bear resentment later in life.
Well, you don't have to tell me.
So we're having a KVJ baby soon?
I don't know. I don't know.
So who out of you and Jen, who do you think is more hopeful that it happens soon?
Jen.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, but I mean, also at the same time, it's probably something we would need to be steadfast with. It's something that has to be.
You want to be ready for it.
Exactly.
You don't want to struggle if you know you're going to go into it and struggle more than you have to.
What else do you have to do that you don't do now?
Make more money.
Make more money.
Get a raise.
A residence, like a permanent residence, is nice instead of like not that there's anything against apartments, but having something where you don't have to sweat that part.
Well,
that part's done. You have a designated area.
We're both. I mean, you and Jen, and then myself. We're all getting ready to buy a house, not together, but in the same neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And you probably want to get that taken care of first before.
It's stressful. So I was 8 months pregnant when we moved into our new house in Tequesta.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a lot.
That had to be rough.
We were renovating every single inch of this house, every wall, all the ceilings, and I'm pregnant. And so yeah, it was bad for everybody else.
So
I was barking.
I literally only moved 500 feet east, and I wasn't pregnant, and I was so stressed out. I'm not kidding you. It was terrible. Moving really does suck.
How old
Totally.
is Jen? You're 35. She's
7 years younger than I am.
Oh wow! I didn't realize
so
that.
she's 28. So
I always think she's like more mature than us.
Well,
yeah,
she
she's
is.
very mature for her age.
Oh, she is. A lot of people who are younger are more mature than us.
Yeah, we're probably not a good gauge to measure others by. 'cause
She's right in that sweet spot, though, But I
Well-
want to make sure that there's permanent residence and.
Just to let you know, whales in dreams, because you said you were walking with a floating
Yeah,
whale.
yeah,
It
yeah.
says, whales usually represent a big event in your life or a strong feeling of solitude. The appearance of a whale in a dream can signify that everything is okay or will be okay. Is often related to spiritual matters of the mind and heart.
All right, so the significance of the whale, I like that. And somebody else pointed out maybe sun. They kept saying go to the sun, but they meant S-O-N.
Yeah, your
Not
son,
necessarily the sun.
the kid.
Do you have a gender preference?
I don't.
I wouldn't either. If I had
Yeah.
a kid, I'd just be happy.
I really don't. I mean, I'll be happy with whatever. I guess males I would have more bonding with. I guess that there is a point where men bond with their sons in things that they share in common, where females would have different things in common with their daughters. So.
Are you mansplaining?
Yeah, how kids work.
Are you mansplaining how families work?
Are you mansplaining how parents love their children?
In that sense only.
Thanks for explaining that,
In
Dennys.
that sense only, I would say I'd prefer maybe a male, only just because I would have that extra bonding. But I really absolutely have no preference.
Oh.
In fact, I think coming up with female names is almost more fun than male names.
The idea of a little girl, though, is pretty exciting and fun.
Yeah, I can tell you, having done both, they both have unique, special things about them. And I always thought I wanted 2 girls. I was like, boy, what? But now the adventure of a little boy is fun. It's foreign.
Yes.
And every day is like, oh my God, I can't believe you climbed that high. Oh my God, I hope you don't fall and die. Totally different from Mags, but it's a different but exciting adventure.
Yeah.
How do you not make yourself a helicopter parent? Because that would be my biggest fear. I don't want to be a helicopter parent. I wouldn't want to be. I want to give my kid freedom and not freak him out. But I just know how I am, even just with my dog Chewy. I hover over and I worry about every little thing. And I don't get how you, as a parent, every time my kid would leave, I would get poopy cramps because I'd think they're going to get kidnapped.
We laugh about it because Rocco, I'm all over Rocco all the time. I'm just like hugging on him and always like keeping him safe and trying to make sure he doesn't crack his head open. So even like when we're in bed, I'm like snuggling him and kissing him and loving on him and stuff. And he it's a joke because he says to me a lot, Mom, keep your hands to yourself. You're too much. Because like I'm all over him.
I get it, man.
But I mean, that's just how I am.
Oh, you just love the little bundle of joy.
I don't care. I'm not going to stop.
So we all think this dream, Dennys, is definitely about you having a kid.
And it's weird. I never have dreams, so you wonder if it's something subconsciously.
Are you protecting yourselves right now?
That's
Or
a
are
little-
you just...
it's all personal.
So we haven't actually,
Just kidding.
aside from the average, we haven't gone into practice, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, you
there's
guys
the,
are still-
the typical. You know,
Are you
we're
using
married.
any birth control?
You can answer that question.
You are.
Yeah.
Why did
Yes, you are. Okay.
Why did you look at me?
No, it's just
Yeah.
I gotta
no-
know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So
that's
at the
the
moment, when the time comes, that'll all disappear.
Right.
But until that point, you know, it's something to consider. And I'm kind of like you, V. I like to plan a little bit ahead. I hate to ever go
Yes.
into something just completely blind.
This is something that you're better off planning. Trust me. I did it one way with no plan and one kid with a plan, and it's far better to do it planned. Although surprises are beautiful, if you have a plan, you feel more prepared. You know what you're doing, and you're not so like caught off guard.
Any shot of naming the baby Dennys Jr.? Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Denny's Jr.
love
I don't know.
Is Denny's your Christian name?
No, it's not.
Well, I thanks to everybody who weighed in. Some people think possibly the shrimp was a preparation. All the shrimp that I have
Yes.
It's the little egg. Remember they do the egg drill back in the day? Yeah,
Yeah.
take care
Keep
of
the egg safe.
Your egg is the shrimp.
Your
dog.
shrimp is your baby.
right now. So I'm practicing on the shrimp right now. You know, I'm trying to keep them all happy.
And I gotta tell you, you're doing a hell of a job, kid.
Well, thanks. Well, thanks for everybody weighing in on my dream there. Oh yeah, whose birthday is it today?
We got a couple birthdays for you. I know you're hanging on for the song contest that's coming up right after the birthdays. Asia, happy 11th birthday from your dad, Daniel. Aw. It's a happy birthday going out to my carbon copy, a.k.a. Banana. Love you to the moon and back, you little weirdo. Enjoy your day. This week is all about you. Love Mom, Dad, Grandma Rose, the fur babies, and shell babies. P.S. Guys, you can chant banana, 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 banana. Happy birthday, banana.
Is that all the birthdays?
That is.
Oh well, thank you very much.
This is the KVJ Show on 97.9 WRMF.
It's the KVJ Show on 97.9 WRMF. Kevin is out all week in Texas at DJ school, getting better.
That's cool. There's a lot of DJ school things these years. I feel like there's one every week almost.
It's so funny. Anytime someone calls me a DJ, I'm like, who's DJ? Yeah, it's such an old school term.
It is. Yeah, it's weird. Disc jockey, you know.
Yeah, you know, just playing the music.
So while he's gone, you've got the VJD show again. Despite the complaints, it's back.
Mainly from us. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I write our own complaints about our show. So I know you are like me. You take a lot of Uber and Lyfts. And
I love Uber and Lyft. If I could do it every day, I would.
And people
Yes.
always ask me, man, you got so many weird stories. What's going on with all these weird stories? Well, I take probably way more than your average person when it comes to Lyfts. I take them a lot.
Yeah, because we're drinking a lot and we don't drink and drive.
Yes.
So there's that.
So I think the opportunity for weird or just odd happens, especially to me. So yesterday we were in an Uber car. It's me, Dennys, and one of our other buddies. And
Who? What's his name?
I don't want to get into that.
I like to know.
I'll write it down because I don't know if he wants his stuff out there.
I'll get over it.
Okay, all right. So we're in there, and I'm in the front seat. I hate sitting in the front.
I hate sitting in the front.
Sometimes you get in those situations where
Whenever
somebody
it's
has to.
me, you, and Dennys always takes the bullet and gets in the front, and I am so appreciative.
Well, my buddy's way taller than me, and Dennys, so I'm like, dude, just take the front. He's like, no, man, I don't want the front. I want to be in the back.
I'd rather be in the trunk than be in the front.
Why is that, though?
Because I don't want to sit that close to a stranger because I feel like they can get me.
Okay, so...
I don't want them to see what I'm doing, too. I do weird stuff in my purse. I don't want them seeing.
I totally get it. So something gross had happened. The driver is in the front and sneezes and does not cover his mouth, his nose, or anything.
Just like turns and
So I'm in the
sprays.
passenger-
Wait, did he turn towards you or away from you?
He's driving like it was like a quick sneeze, like just like that. It didn't cover nothing. Go, oh, sorry. And I looked down on my thigh, and there is a partial booger on my. Yes, there was. It was awful. Oh my gosh. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to embarrass him. I'm not going to say, dude, you just put a booger on my leg. But how terrible is that? Do you say something to the Uber driver? I don't know if you do.
I wouldn't, because here's the deal. It's a bodily function. He didn't try to get a bug on you. He's probably embarrassed. I don't want to make it worse than it is, but I do get out a Kleenex or something, and I always have Sandy wipes. I always have anti-bac. I am literally going to douche my leg.
On pure reaction, like I flicked it off. Man, he had to have seen me do that, so his booger's somewhere in his
He's probably
car.
embarrassed.
It was a solid hard booger?
No, it wasn't.
I feel like a wet one would stick.
It was wet.
wet,
Yeah, I'm not
yeah.
trying to gross people. I don't want to get, because of course Virginia's going to take the details
It
and
like
make it way grosser.
splatted.
It was just, it was awful. So we got out of the Uber car. We guys, that was awful. So the topic we're opening up is, what's the worst thing that's ever landed on you? For me, that's in my top 5.
I watched Kevin one time at a radio conference, funny enough, the same thing he's at right now. He was talking to this psychic, and I use the term psychic loosely.
Was it like a radio psychic at a radio
It was a radio
convention?
psychic at a radio convention.
All right.
And so we were at this party, and we always didn't get invited to the fancier parties, but we somehow had scored an invite to this party, so they had like food and drinks. It was like a whole happy hour situation, so it was 2 hours, free beverages, free food. So me and Kevin are taking advantage of the meat tray.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like,
All the meat tray.
That's
we're over there by the meat tray, but he's trying to this lady is just on his you-know-what, trying to get on the show.
All right.
Talking about how she wants to be a psychic on the show. And he's like talking to her, but half talking to her, more interested in the meat tray. And so he's eating like a piece of ham or something, but then he goes to talk to her, so he looks at her and answers her question, and a piece of meat flies off of his lip, end over end over end, and we're watching it like it's in slow-mo, and it lands on her cheek while she's talking. She didn't even flinch. Maybe she didn't know.
Well, she did.
Maybe
She's a
she's that
psychic.
big of a professional.
She saw it come. She knew the whole thing was going to develop.
She did not even flinch, kept right on pitching herself, and talked with a meat chunk on her cheek for about 2 more minutes.
I'll take meat. I'll take ham over what happened to me any day.
Yeah, ham is way better than boogie.
So she was probably trying to be courteous, right, and not embarrass anyone by not acknowledging it.
Either that or just she's a terrible psychic, had no idea she had ham on her cheek.
Let's go with that one. Yeah. Anytime you spit something up in front of somebody, it's really, really embarrassing. I was telling you that one story, how I didn't spit it up, but I sneezed and I snotted all over myself as I was giving a kidney speech. I was in front of a group of people at a podium and talking about donating a kidney, and I sneezed, and you know how I am. I'm a quick sneezer, and I didn't have time to cover.
You sneeze out of nowhere. I feel it coming for at least a good 2 seconds. You're like a sniper.
It was so embarrassing because everyone's watching you. You have to call attention.
You have to call
to
attention.
it.
You have to call it out right then
What
and
did
there.
you wipe it on?
I started, get you a napkin, please. I started looking for napkins. Someone helped me out. It was the whole thing stopped. Everyone was looking at me. It was very, very
But then they
embarrassing.
were all like, "Oh, he gave a kidney, though. Like, that's forgivable
I
because you
guess.
gave the kidney.
Yeah,
you can
but-
have snot pouring out of your face if you give a kidney.
I would have preferred not to have that moment go on in my life.
I get it.
You ever go on those deep sea charter boats where you go out deep sea fishing? They arrange it all. All you have to do is show up. They give you
Yes.
a rod. They bait your rod, and you catch like bonita and all those big fish.
Sure.
Well, we were on one of those, and if you have ocean sickness, some people get seasick. So we were fishing, and I wasn't even paying attention. I had to be like, I don't know, 12 or 13. And this woman comes running through to go vomit off the edge of the boat because she had terrible seasickness.
Oh, no.
But she didn't make it. She barfed on my shoulder as I'm fishing. That's probably the grossest thing that's ever happened. I didn't even know it happened. It was happening as I was turning around. It just like exploded on me.
I would have been like, I'm jumping in, guys. This is gross.
And one time I was at, not to prolong, but one time I was at a gas station and I was carrying a bunch of the soda pops, so I wanted to set them down on the counter because it's hard to hold all those, especially if they're
Yes.
cold. You start getting a
It's hard
headache.
to hold- that little ring thing is not going to hold them together.
No.
I know that move.
Well, it's cold too, so your hands are getting cold, so you have to keep rotating them so that it's not cold. Well, anyway, so I set them on the counter, and the guy was cracking up the cashier that was actually ringing out at the time, and she laughed and she spit up food onto his knuckle, and he like looked at it, and they like locked eyes, and they just continued. And then when I saw him in my peripheral leaving, he was wiping it off.
My back in high school, one of our assistant coaches had to give a speech. You know, they have all the coaching staff goes up there, they talk, and we felt so bad because as he's giving the speech, his dentures fall out. He catches them and puts them right back in his mouth.
Good hands, coach.
Good hands, coach. He had great hands, Virginia. But everybody at the banquet saw it. Everyone's like, oh my God.
my gosh.
The nicest guy. We all acted like we didn't see it, but boy, oh boy, we still talk about it.
So give us a call. If you've got a funny story, something was spit on you or you spit on somebody else, we love it. Boogie's not shy for that. Bring those too. Give us a call, 877-979-WRMF.
Get the info on everything that's going on with us at kvjshow.com.
Well, I don't know if you guys realize this, but it's National Self-Improvement Month, and the two of you could stand to improve a little bit.
Oh, wow. So I got a couple improvements we could probably work on as a show. We could maybe get phones that work.
Oh.
So right now, just to let everybody know,
Anyone who's tried calling in.
our phones are not working, and we only have Suits back there running KVJ TV. we are down a few people.
Yeah, Kevin is in Texas. Suits is literally working KVJ TV with his hands and answering phones with his feet.
I mean, we are basically like the Millennium Falcon from Empire Strikes Back. Am I right, Virginia?
What?
You got her to tune out.
What is that?
But you're right. It is National. What is it?
Self-improvement month.
Okay, yeah. So we put this up on Facebook. People had some things to say.
I love it.
We put it on a bunch of our social media. One of the number one things people said that the KVJ needs to self-improve on is we need to stop, as a show, collectively, stop drinking.
Oh.
We got to stop drinking so much.
It's actually in our contract that we have to do an event called Cocktails and Karaoke, and everybody knows karaoke is better when you're drunk.
Well, somebody called Kevin out one time. We were doing cocktails and karaoke, and Kevin wasn't drinking. Sober as a judge. You're like, cocktails and karaoke? How can you do cocktails and karaoke without drinking?
We wore him down one time. He was like, I'm not going to drink. And then by the end, he had a beer. I was like, yes. He came to the dark side. Star Wars.
Oh, very good.
Oh, look
Yeah.
at that. Full circle.
Some other answers people were saying on social media. Bird, for me, Jbird, you need to get a serious girlfriend and think about having a kid.
Really?
Self-improvement.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, the kid part. It's not that I don't want a girlfriend either. Everyone thinks I'm trying to become a monk or something. That's not it. It's not the right time right now.
Some birds were meant to fly solo, you know? Make a nest in every town.
I had a girlfriend at the beginning of the year. I didn't talk about it. And after a breakup, you're just kind of getting your bearings. And that's where I'm at personally in my life.
I know. I was devastated by your breakup.
All right.
Let's get into it.
Let's not. People are saying Kevin needs to lighten up on his food intake when it comes to being such a diet pansy.
He's doing the thing now where he's cut calories way down. He is like doing a little bit of that fasting intermittently.
Intermittent fasting, yeah.
And the calories are super low.
Tracy on social media says you need to stop having Rocco listen to gangster rap.
I would agree with
Is
that.
he still listening to gangster rap?
Last night he was listening to Metallica, so no.
That's okay.
He's getting excited for the J-Town Jam coming up in Abacoa.
Very cool.
Jason Newsted from Metallica is going to be playing it. And so Panda's introducing him to all this Metallica music. So when we bring him to the show, he can rock out.
That's cool.
Other suggestions for National Self-Improvement Month. Dennys needs to stop talking about weed so much on the air.
I can see that. I get it.
Is that your only response?
No, maybe I should. I mean, I take these to heart.
It's the most important thing in your life. So when it's trumped by a baby, then we will have baby talk.
Did you just say weed's more important than his wife, Jen?
So it's in the pie syllabus of things that I do talk about. Shrimp, marijuana, Jen.
Would you say you are self-aware enough to know things that you need to personally improve on? Like one of the comments says V needs to work on her anger.
Absolutely.
Do you think are you an angry person?
I have a very short fuse.
Yes, we know.
And I don't bite my tongue like I should.
Here, let me help you. Okay, just turn off her microphone. I'm just kidding. I can't turn it on because her microphone
Hey,
phone's...
now you broke my mic.
I know. All right, so you do...
I am self-aware, but I also don't care.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
I'm confident enough that and I'm old enough too. Confidence comes with age.
It does.
When I was in my 20s, I was just kind of going through it, going, ah! But now that I'm older and I've kind of got things figured out, and I, to a certain extent, now certainly don't have everything figured out, but I think when you get a little bit older, you realize that people's opinions of you don't really matter.
Yes.
And as you go through your day, all that matters is what you think of you and what your friends and family think of you. And things like social media opinions don't matter.
Well, I mean, social media, people are they're so down about it when they read terrible things about them. And it is real life, but it's really not real life because most of those people, majority of the people that say hurtful things, whether you're in the public eye or whether you're going to school and reading stuff about yourself, most of the time I feel like they don't say it to your face.
True.
Unless you're at Beer Fest and then people are drunk, then they'll tell you how terrible you look.
Well, that's the weird thing about social media is it skews those lines. There's a lot of things people would never, ever in the front of a person say something like that. But on social media, you're protected. It's anonymous, more or less.
I like social media for certain things, and then I think it's garbage for a lot. But I know I sound old saying that. But I'm even hearing young people, even Suits will say, yeah, man, there's some really dangerous social media traps you can fall into.
But if you want to be more self-aware for Self-Improvement Month, which I think we all should, put it out there on Facebook like we did. Friends and family, what should I improve about myself?
Well, because then you'll get some people, like if some people are saying, you guys are perfect, don't change a thing. Y'all, you're lying about that. We all need to change something.
Yeah, some of those comments can be a little rattling as far as like a normal person hearing for the first time what people really think about them.
Okay.
True. So we have thick skin.
Yeah, we get opinions thrown at us all the time.
We're used to being told how awful we are every single day. I actually get a rise out of it.
I have thick skin because I'm gaining weight again.
Me too.
That's what they're telling me on social media.
I am definitely on the, okay, you got to get it together.
Okay, so look at me and Dennys. You tell us what we should self-improve on. As an outsider looking in, what do we need to work on as people?
Dennys, you're perfect.
Well, thank you, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Jbird, you got a one?
I do not. No. You cannot do that. You cannot just make it all about me. We gotta tear Dennys apart as well.
No, he's perfect. He's an angel. He's perfect. He does everything right. He's on top of it. He's He's a man, but yet he's.
All right, there we go. All right, so what's coming up, Dennys? What do I got coming up here?
Well, I'd say to go ahead and call in and with your own personal things that we could work on self-improvement wise, but I don't know if our phones are working quite yet.
They are not working. That's not a big deal. It's only halfway through the show.
You can probably see on Kvj Tv Suits running back and forth in the window trying to figure out everything.
He's starting to get a lather. He's starting to sweat.
So we're gonna work on our phones here and see what we can come up with.
Can they text us?
Absolutely. Always send us a text. In fact, we got one that came in. It said, like Virginia said, confidence comes with age. So she must be very confident.
I am.
Oh, you old?
You can get comments like that into us. The same phone number, 877-979-9763.
What do you want to see us do? The KVJ show is gonna do silly things for you. Check it out on KVJ TV. It's about to get weird. It's about to get goofy.
We are doing some funny stuff based on your emails. You know, you can always email us if you have a fun idea of something you want to see us do. Send it in to mail@kvjshow.com.
Yeah, just tune into the KVJ TV. You'll see us attempting to do something that you want us to do. Now, we have a couple ideas people are sending us emails on. You tell me which one you want to do.
Okay.
And again, we don't have to do these ideas. We're just throwing it out there.
Okay.
It says, Dear KVJ, I want to see Jbird and Dennys rub Rufus the talking cat's hair all over Virginia's face. My kids would love to see it. Don't let the kids down, Virginia. Love the show, The Thompson Family. You're allergic to cat hair.
They want us to rub cat hair all over Virginia's face?
And
Thank you. Next.
unfortunately, I did bring a bag of it, just in case.
I am not doing that. No.
Okay. Look,
And I'm going to punch you.
me?
Yeah.
You need to punch the Thompson family. don't punch me. It's
All right. Give me their address.
Not my idea. Or it says, okay, Dear KVJ, I want to see producer Dennys whip Jbird with a towel, followed up immediately with Virginia giving Jbird a wedgie. If Jbird doesn't do
What
it...
is this, a high school locker room?
Yeah, I know, right?
If Jbird doesn't do it, he's losing his edge. Rick, Maria, Chase, and Katie. I know which one Virginia wants to do.
I'll do whatever.
Out of the two, what do you like better?
Oh, out of haze you or cover my face in cat hair?
So I think it's either cat hair with Virginia or I get hazed. Is that what?
Basically, you're getting hazed.
You're getting hazed.
We don't have to do either one of them.
I'll haze you.
So the art of the wedgie. I know that we've talked about wedgies before. Do you remember the time we hung a crane from a tree and then hooked it to my underwear?
Yes.
And did a tree wedgie.
And what was so weird is your undercarriage did not get damaged. You hurt your foot.
Yeah, I did hurt my foot to the point now because what had happened was the contraption pinned me to the tree and it did something to my foot to where it twisted it. And I still have a click in my ankle.
I know.
So Dennys left the studio. It's going to be hard to do this bit without
They're
him.
literally trying to fix our phones. Phones, it's self-improvement month. Fix yourself.
I mean, we're not going to lie, y'all. We're struggling right now. We are down people. The phones aren't working. Poor Suits, that guy, he aged 10 years this morning. He looks like he's 52.
He looks like the stock market just crashed.
It really does.
He's sweaty.
He
He's
is.
loosened up the tie. It's like kind of hanging to the left.
All right, so I guess...
Well, so I grabbed some water. I grabbed a shirt. I'm going to roll up. I'm going to do it the old classic whip style.
Give it to him.
I wouldn't know how to do it. You know how to do that? Make a snappy towel thing?
Yeah.
Huh,
I know how to
okay.
do it.
All right, let's make this quick, Dennys.
Bareback?
I'll take off my shirt. Well, I mean, at this point. at this point.
At this point.
Oh, yeah. All right, Virginia, you're going to be doing the play-by-play.
And the wedgie.
Don't worry. You're going to get your wedgie.
You want it in the front or you want it in the back?
You know what? Witch's choice. Witch's choice.
Witch's choice. That is true. It's almost Halloween. It should
All
be
right,
witch's
Dennys,
choice.
Right in the belly. Let's make sure we get this on KVJ TV. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, he missed.
Oh, you missed.
Get the belly. Get the belly. Twist it real hard. Twist it up real. That's the key. You got to have it real tight,
All right,
Denny.
you sound like a maniac. Oh, God. All right.
And your wedgie's coming in 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Keep going.
Basically, we're just whipping and wedging and bird.
All right, we have to.
I probably got you. Look at your stomach's turning red.
We got to proofread these. What do you want to see us do?
Is the family happy now?
That was really
Yeah, look at it. Bird's got red
yeah.
welts on him.
you got straight up nipple.
That last one I saw curve up and hit the nipple.
Oh, it's that easy, guys.
Yeah, just send your ideas to mail@kvjshow.com. On 97.9 WRMF. Kevin's out of town, so it's the VJD show.
Ooh.
And we are taking your calls. The phones are working, y'all.
We got him back up.
It's
They're
nice.
fixed. Woohoo!
It's nice to just have it work.
We think.
Have we even taken a phone call yet?
No,
we
don't jinx
We
it.
actually don't even know if they're working.
Yeah,
They tell us they're working. So, I don't know. Try them out. 877-979-WRMF. Coming up in a minute, we'll get into that poop shaming. But before we do, we want to play a fun game. Bird or Chewy?
So we've got Elena on line 2. Elena, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys?
We're doing
Very
great.
good, yeah.
We're getting through it. So this is a pretty tough game, almost as hard as Dennys or Animal. We've got a clip here. You have to guess whether it's me or my dog Chewy breathing. Now, Virginia and Dennys can help you out if you do get stumped.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So here is clip number 1 in Is This Jbird or Is This Chewy?
Now, we try to make this one a little tougher this round.
Interesting.
All right, a little tougher.
Is that me panting or is that my dog?
I'm thinking it's you.
It is not me.
Oh, that sounded like Chewy to me.
That was Chewy.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
got a Chewy win to it.
It's okay, Elena. You're still in the game. You just have to get 3 out of 4. You got this. You got this. All right, Denny, hit us with the next clip.
All right, I'm starting to see how this is going.
I think I know this one.
All right, Elena, please tell me you got the answer for that one.
I think this is you, Jbird.
Yeah, girl.
You got it, okay. You just got to get 2 more in a row and you got the tickets.
Okay, now you're locked in.
Now you get it. This will be the third clip for you, Elena.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I think I know.
All right, play it one more time, Denny's. Elena?
I think it might be Chewy.
I think you're right.
I think you're right too.
You guys are all correct.
Oh,
Yes! You can feel the tension in the air.
Chewy.
All right, here's the final clip. What do you guys think? Chewy or Jbird?
Ooh, I don't know.
It's a little trickier.
You might have to play that one again.
All right, one more time for everyone. A little tricky.
Okay, Elena, it all comes down to this guess. If you get it right, you get the tickets. Final answer.
Oh my gosh.
Can we hear it again? That one's hard.
Let's hear it one more time.
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
I think that one's Jbird.
Me too.
What do you
Yeah?
think, Elena? What do you
Okay.
think? What do you think?
I don't know, because it kind of sounded like a real bark, but... Okay, I'm going to go with what you said.
What do you
Virginia.
think, Dennys?
Um,
Is that Jbird or Chewy?
You know me,
It
Miho.
sounds like bird.
We're best friends. You should know my barking.
The bark sounded real, but I think that's Jbird.
I think the breathing really sounded like Jbird
Me
in the
too.
beginning. That was a good bark.
Okay, Elena,
right, but
we
the bark kind of sounded real.
I know.
all right, Elena.
But the game isn't who's barking. The game is who's breathing.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll go with you guys say it's Jbird.
The answer is it's Jbird.
Yay!
That was my barking.
That was a good
Yeah, I'm
bark.
getting better at my barking.
Wow, you're morphing into your dog. That's so sad.
Love it.
Oh, that's awesome, Elena. We'll either hook you up, your choice. You get a pair of tickets to go see Lindsey Sterling for the Warmer in the Winter tour, Saturday, December 21st at the Broward Center for Performing Arts, or you can get a pair of tickets to go check out Howie Mandel at the Seminole Coconut Casino.
Yeah, and y'all don't have to text in how me and Chewy are breathing with each other and it's passionate. It's a very innocent bit. It's a very innocent bit.
Were you wearing pants? That's my question.
I was wearing a thong.
Give us a call if you have anything you want to contribute. 877-979-WRMF.
Get the info on everything that's going on with us at kvjshow.com.
It's the KVJ Show on 97.9 WRMF. Kevin is out this week. He is in Texas.
People keep asking, why does Virginia keep telling us that Kevin's in Texas? We know. Just for, if you're listening to the whole show, yes, you're going to hear some repeat stuff, but your average person does not listen. I mean, that's a true fact about radio, am I right?
Yeah.
Most people don't listen more than 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, they say the average person listens 20.
Okay, so we just have to repeat it every now and then.
We do. If you're wondering where Kevin is because he's your favorite, he's not here.
He's out finding a better show in Texas. No, just kidding. He's getting better.
If he goes to get a better show, don't worry. We'll hunt him down and kill him and his new show.
I would so fight the other Jason.
He wouldn't stand a chance. You wouldn't get to him first because I'd have already killed him.
How hurt would you be? You find out Kevin had a different Virginia, had a different Jbird.
You take the Virginia, I'll take the Jbird.
What if he had a different Dennys? What would he be like?
I think he takes you with him. You're irreplaceable.
So he takes me and leaves you guys?
Yes, totally.
And if you go, you break my heart, kid. You break my heart.
I couldn't do that to you guys.
Jbird would have to listen to you on podcasts. It'd be very sad.
So we brought up the topic about women using the bathroom at work if it's considered.
Well, there was a big bombshell. There was some article written about how
from the New York Times.
That women get poop shamed more than men, and it's not fair because they have to carry the burden of the stank more than, like, say, a dude would who pooped at work.
So you did read that article?
I did.
Did it have a tone of kind of like, all right, once again, women are being shamed and men are bad and evil?
It did. It
Okay.
definitely did have a tone like it's your fault.
Yes.
As men. But I think there's a little bit of truth to it. But everybody, look, we're the first ones to laugh when we notice somebody in the bathroom going poo. But it's equal. We've laughed at dudes and women.
Okay, but because the article was kind of basically saying society looks at women saying, no, you cannot. If you poop at work, you're less than. I mean, you're a woman that poops. How dare you? You're a terrible mother. You're a terrible worker. That was kind of like the tone.
I feel like we shame everybody, but maybe there is a little truth to that. Maybe women do carry it worse.
So the parts that stuck with me in the article was that they were applying like a sexism to it, saying that men going at work isn't a big deal, or even men farting in public is laughed at. But if a woman does it, it's mortifying. And in fact, the thing that caught my eye in the article was how many examples they had of women who range their entire day at work around their poop schedule. Like,
but guys do that too, though. It's not just a blanket statement that only women do that.
for sure. And the article does at the end address that this could apply to any gender, but the scales tip more in the favor of women being called out for it more so than men. Men, it's like, men are pooping at work. Women, they're like, did you see who was pooping? It's kind of like that stigma. In fact, there was an example of a woman who would leave her work every day and go to the building next door and use their bathroom and then come back up. She only had 10 minutes to do this.
Oh, you mean it's like you're a ninja. You know every little thing you got to do to get this done. But again, I will argue that is just that's genderless. I mean, it can be like that.
Absolutely.
It's just as fun to make fun of the guy at work that poops as the girl. I'm sorry, it is.
We got Derek on line 1. He wants to call out this whole conversation. Derek, how are you?
Good morning, guys. Listen, I am just beyond fed up with this whole women's right, women equality, women equal stuff. I mean, this poop thing has actually pushed this to the limit for me, so much so that it's ridiculous. Why can't we just go back to the way things were, where you knew the boundaries, you knew where you stood? You can't say or do anything around a woman now without fear of saying the wrong thing, about upsetting somebody, about being chauvinistic. It's just ridiculous. And it's absolutely ridiculous to have to continue to tiptoe around women where 10, 15, 20 years ago, it wasn't an issue and everybody knew their place and it was fine.
Virginia, would you like to keep or talk to Derek?
Well, I think your perspective may just be, from the male perspective, and you're not considering that at work, and especially if she's the only one at a male-dominated workplace, she will be more made fun of, more given a stank eye than a dude would. I think that women...
But don't women spend hours, whatever, getting ready and spend quality time to beautify themselves? And then it's just, again, to just go, poop and make it smelly, and now they can't get made fun of when they're trying to put on this beautiful exterior with makeup and pretty clothes and stuff, where, man, we may not care as much. It may not be as big of a deal, so we don't have to carry that stigma around, no?
Yeah, you're right. You're already gross, so it doesn't matter if people in the office know you're gross.
I don't know. A lot of people in the chat room got a lot to say about this guy.
Yeah, there's a lot of people commenting on text as well.
All right, Derek, well, thanks for the call.
I just think that you have to look at it from a girl's perspective. And sometimes girls do carry the burden more of having to always be so prim and proper and a lady. And yeah, if you make fun of a girl at work for pooping, it's probably going to be harder for her to shake than if you make fun of Bob for pooping. He's going to be like, whatever, and he shakes it.
People do not like Derek in the chat room. They did not like the comment when people knew their place.
Yeah, I mean, Derek.
Come on, Derek.
You stink for a different reason besides poo.
Also, a couple other comments in here. Kristen K in the chat room. You guys talk about bathroom stuff a lot when Kevin is gone. No, we talk about it a lot when he's here.
He talks about it.
Yeah, he brings this stuff up a lot too.
It's life, baby.
Well, so people are bringing the example that women are held in a regards of beauty. They're looked up to. They're on like a pedestal. So to think of them doing normal bodily activities is kind of the stigma that women don't want to attach to them. That they are on the same level as men. They want to be, looked up to by the opposite sex or the same sex.
People are saying, did you actually hear him say women need to know their place?
I did.
Well, so that comment clearly ruffled some feathers because we got about 40 texts that just came in from that one.
Clearly he's insane.
Derek's insane.
No one needs to know their place. This is not about all that. This is just about he needs to realize it's a worse stigma for a lady to carry around the office as being the pooper than it is for a dude.
People are sending in tactics now to cover up the sounds and the noises.
I like Amy's comment in the chat room. Go back to the 1840s, dude.
You know what they used to do?
Tell us.
Do you guys know? All right, so what they would do in the old days was they would get a circle of women and they would circle a woman going to the bathroom to block everybody from seeing it. They'd have an area where they would go and do it, and they would take turns. Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
This is the guy. I believe Dennys because he brought us the factoid of bicycle face. Remember
I'm talking way back in the day, but yeah, what they would do is they would wear big gowns and they would hold them up on the edges and they would block. They would circle a person. They would all take turns going number 2.
I would get stage fright. I couldn't do it. There's no way I could barely go pee in front of people.
But isn't it better to do it that way than to have some opposite sex person see
Only
you?
women would know it, and they all would do it, so they weren't embarrassed by it, and they would hide it from men.
Sisters helping sisters.
Women have been hiding this forever. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Well, so you were talking about having a hard time peeing. They said men are more likely to develop what is called paruresis, which is a shyness of peeing, whereas women are more likely to develop parcopresis, which is a fear of pooping.
Wow.
So I think that call dropped.
Paruresis made me hungry for chocolate peanut butter cups.
Oh, okay. Oscar, line 2, did he drop off? Oscar, you dropped off. You got to call us back. His comment was, mind your own business and do your job. Is he talking to us, or is he talking to the guy that called in?
No, yeah.
Suits, we need better notes, Suits.
Yeah.
It's the KVJ show on 97.9 WRMF. We are limping this morning. Our phones keep going in and out. I think so many people wanted to call in and yell at Derek or support Derek.
Well, it's funny because the first thing of text that came in and calls was everyone was ripping on Derek, going, oh my gosh, this guy's a sexist pig. Now, Dennys, you're telling me we're getting people siding with Derek, and we're talking women as well?
Yeah, well, the first wave was very harsh against Derek, but the second wave, surprisingly, is in support.
Just to let people know, Derek called in. We were talking about how this article was dropped about women get shamed and judged harshly for going
judged more harshly
than men.
At work, for going to the bathroom at work, especially number 2. And Derek came in, basically said women need to know their place. And what else did he say? comment.
I don't think that's what it's about, Derek.
He
He tried to change it into something else, but the fact remains, women, if they poop at work, they get to hear about it more than men.
They get the scarlet letter from
They
it.
do, and that's just a fact.
All right, now we don't know if the phones are working. You guys are in it with us. Steve on line 1, are you there?
Steve?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Love you guys. Love the radio station. But this is a sort of controversial subject that you guys are on. Now, way back when, guys poop.
Yes.
Don't listen to
Are you
yourself
hearing
on the radio.
Yeah, if you could
turn your radio
okay.
down. Look, a suit's in there,
Okay,
not
hold on,
giving
hold
proper
on.
instruction.
Hold on.
All right, stop yelling at Steve, Virginia.
Talk to
Yeah,
us on the
so-
phone.
I am talking to you on the phone now. So this goes back way back when. Guys poop, women poop. Okay? Some smell rambunctious because of what they eat. Okay? I know of women, they would stand right next to you and let go a fart or something. You wouldn't hear or smell anything. Sometimes it just depends on the type of food you eat that makes it smell. Now, whether a woman goes to the bathroom or not, I'm not thinking, well, she went to poop. I'm thinking, wow, how beautiful she is. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, well,
thank
that's the
you.
attitude we need.
Yeah, no, Steve, thanks for the comment. Yeah.
The diet.
I love that guy.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I actually enjoyed
he
that.
kind of mansplained digestion to us, but
But
his sentiment was there.
I thought that was fun.
His sweetheart, Steve.
Some people are texting in saying that they do, as women, side with what Derek said, though he may have expressed himself and mixed two topics together.
He did.
But he was on the path of what is something they agree with.
Are they agreeing with the fact that that we're at a time where you're walking on eggshells? Is that the part of
More
the
so
conversation?
that point than the actual, know your place part. But
Yeah,
like,
he kind of he
mixed
twisted up the whole thing. We get your point, Steve. I mean, Derek.
You're
I'm getting guys confused.
You're getting all
now.
confused. All right, well, thank you for the comments, everybody. We appreciate it. Dennys, I think it's time for a little whacked out news.
it is.
Ow! There's a lot of dumbass criminals to talk about, baby. It's the whacked out news. People breaking the law. Ha ha, fighting in the nude. Ha, drunk people pooping in the street. Ha ha, it's the whacked out news.
So many people on there. Ow! Okay, now, Dennys, don't do no repeat stories Kevin's done already.
Doing my very best.
Uh-oh, you know what happens if you do?
I get spanked.
The shocker.
Oh, shocker. The shocker or a shocker?
It's a good question.
Yes.
We don't know yet.
A shocker.
All right.
We don't know
All
yet.
right. Well, I guess it's apropos, and just to keep it in the same vein, but I found a recent study, and I want to see what you guys think about this. In Britain, they did a study recently that said 50% of us use our cell phones on the toilet, and 8 to 10% always do. But they've also noticed that this is corresponding with the rate of hemorrhoids amongst the youth.
Glad to see we're keeping it classy.
So the study actually asks, are cell phones, using your phone on the toilet, is that causing people to get hemorrhoids more often now?
Because you're sitting longer.
You're sitting longer in the pose.
Here's my question. Why is it that anybody over the age of 65, they love telling you about their hemorrhoids? Why? Why is that?
Probably because you've lived so long.
You just don't, yeah.
You're running out of things to talk about.
Hey, every one of my family members over the age of 65, oh, Jbird. Oh, I got to lead the league in hemorrhoids.
So I think as you get older, digestion becomes a big part of your life.
Sure, and you've been, healthy your whole life, and now your body, is preparing for death. And so all of these things are breaking down and starting to not work anymore. And now it's the most prominent thing in your life. All these things that have changed on you, the rug's pulled out from under
Yes.
you, and it is glaring you in the face.
That'd be a good T-shirt slogan, preparing for death.
Well, and here's a theory of mine as well, is when you're young, your body can handle a lot more. These foods that we're making are so decadent. They're fried, and then they have frosting on them, and then they're on a donut, and now they have cheese. There's these decadent foods there was never before.
I mean, even a cat like myself, and I love the junk food world.
You love fried with icing.
I do, but we're getting to a point where it's so over the top with so much cheese and so much donut. You can't. It's almost like you can't even enjoy the certain notes in the sandwich.
There's a thing. It's food porn now, which is what they call it, where food is so beautiful and delicious looking that people are attracted to going on social media and looking at food now.
You're right.
People are taking pictures of their food. It's a thing now.
I get lost in it. Those 30-second little videos where they just show the
cooking something.
The one shot.
Yes.
It's over like the blender, and they do like 5 little steps, and it's done in 30 seconds. I love those videos.
Something blew my mind yesterday. I watched one of those videos. They took the cinnamon rolls, the Pillsbury ones that come in the long canister.
Oh.
They put them on the waffle iron griddle. They closed it, cooked them. They were cooked in 2 minutes, and they put the icing on them. And you're like, oh my gosh.
That's genius.
Genius, brilliant, the best way to make cinnamon rolls ever.
You could even throw a little a non-offensive cheese on there and make a sweet kind of.
This is the digestion problems that we're having. This is why. You're the problem.
I am, and I love being the problem.
Well, so when you're young, your body can process it. You're growing, so it's using the energy, and then it's expelling what it doesn't need. And your body can take a lot of that. As you start hitting your mid-30s, things start changing a little bit.
You get some clogged engine parts.
We start having a little more issues than you ever did before.
I noticed when I got into like my mid-30s, I tried to eat 7-Eleven food.
Oh,
you know, like the hot dog.
Jbird.
Well, back in the day,
that was my staple.
I'd buy like 9 of those little sausage links, get like 4 donuts and big gulp or a Slurpee.
It didn't faze you.
It did not faze me. Then I started eating these hot dogs. I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel wrong.
You've got sludge in you now because you're older and preparing for death.
Okay, all right. Gosh, can we get a little bit of positivity?
Look, them's the facts.
You're getting me depressed, making me want to go back to 7-Eleven and have a donut party.
I didn't write this book.
All right, so I guess to circle back to the actual topic.
Y'all get me want to have donuts now.
Yeah. They're saying that just spend less time on it because the way that you're positioned with the gravity's pulling and it's causing these.
Okay.
And young people are getting them at a rate they've never gotten them before in history, and they attribute it to people spending an extra 10 minutes on the toilet than they would normally not.
Holding their
it's about
smartphone.
Average about extra 10 minutes, and people that are long-term can go anywhere an extra 25 minutes.
Look at this, Dennys. That's really an educational tidbit.
So watch out, you're getting hemorrhoids from using your phone on the toilet.
I cannot stop thinking about that Cinnabum story. I can't even talk.
Cinnabum. That's what you get afterwards.
Always his butt with this guy. I'm just waiting for Virginia to say.
Loves butt stuff.
That Cinnabon story you told's in my head.
It's going to be amazing. We're going to make them.
Tomorrow.
I've got a waffle iron.
Oh, okay. Cinnabon Thursday.
Cinnabon Thursday.
Love it. All right, Denny says you were.
Well, so since we're on the food topic, I might as well just go right into this one. This sounds like a dream job for the bird here. Domino's is offering a dream job as a garlic bread taste tester.
What's it pay? I'm in.
So it kind of in the same sense as I think this might be the new trend that companies are doing weird job titles or offering weird positions to get the social media exposure.
Yeah, you'll be the social media guy who's tasting all of this, but it's not. They don't really care what you think about the taste. It's just about the marketing and the exposure for the bread.
Because in order to get this job, you have to send in a 30-second video of why you are the perfect person.
You got to be entertaining. You got to be funny. You got to be wacky. You got to be endearing.
Yes.
You got to be likable. It's all the things you already are.
Yeah,
You
so
just threw a lot at me.
if you want to
I'm
apply,
half of none of those things.
200 words or less, 30-second video. You send it to Domino's. You can go to their website. But the applications are up until October 7th if you want to qualify for this gig.
Look, I just had Domino's not that long ago, and say what you want to say, because I always get crap about showing love to chained pizza places. Domino's, I think they do a great job. I really like their pizza.
Did you see the commercial running right now? They've got 2. You can get pizzas for $5.99 delivered.
Oh,
They're the medium ones, but so what?
So I accidentally ordered 4 chocolate chip pies. I thought they were just cookies. It was a mistake, but it was a happy mistake.
Why are these cookies $8 a piece?
They were. I spent $40 in pie, and you remember the meltdown.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, Denny's, why am I spending $40 on chocolate chip cookies? They were pies, and I had pies galore for a good 3 days. It was worth it.
Your family's proud. Pies galore.
Yeah.
I guess to keep it on the same vein as well. See what you guys think about this story, and if this has ever happened to you, how you would handle it. A woman in her late 60s who attended a wedding ate a large amount what she thought was avocado dip by dipping a chip, taking a big scoop, and eating it.
Okay.
But she quickly realized that it was actually wasabi paste on display.
Oh, no.
That stuff's gnarly.
What a big difference.
Well, she ended up feeling pressure in her chest, and she was lightheaded for a few hours, so she went to the hospital. It actually triggered an emotional/physical stress condition on the heart called broken heart syndrome.
Oh.
It made you sad.
It caused the same phenomenon when it says it's a common occurrence in the elderly. If something sad happens, it's a temporary disruption in the heart's normal pumping function.
Oh, that hurts my heart, Denny's.
Yeah. It caused sadness.
So I got another email. Remember we were talking about how sometimes when people go to get a massage and there's certain pressure points on your body that if you hit it, it can release an emotional, surge, and you start to cry.
I've heard that.
I got another email so that they were getting a massage the other day, and a spot was hit, and they started like crying in the massage room, and they didn't know why. Then the person had to explain to them, sometimes when you get a massage, there's a crying
pressure
button.
point.
Isn't that fascinating?
It is fascinating. I have a girlfriend that was a massage therapist, and she said that she would massage people sometimes so good that afterwards they would like start to develop love feelings for her and start expressing to her that they were in love with her. And she was like, whoa, what the hell?
She was rubbing them pretty good then.
Oh, she was rubbing them real good. I don't think she was doing that. She wasn't doing the Bob Kraft.
I didn't mean that.
She was just rubbing them so good they were misconstruing
they
the
fell
emotions.
in love
Yeah.
because the emotions became too powerful.
Imagine if you're somebody who's extremely lonely and you're not.
So I'm you.
I've got nothing. I'm not lonely, you jerk.
Bird's got friends.
Yeah, I have real friends like Dennys who doesn't constantly bring up that I'm lonely. Believe me, I don't want no company. I don't even know what I was saying. Never mind. It doesn't even matter.
Well, it's a common occurrence with therapists as well. The patients will misconstrue and fall in love because it's a person listening to them. You're talking about lonely people.
Thank you.
Yes.
So the people will misconstrue that with the helpful information they're getting that the person actually has feelings for them.
But if you're a lonely person, you haven't been touched in the longest time, and maybe you're slightly off a little bit, you go into this regular masseuse. Can you say masseuse? I forget what's politically.
Massage therapist.
Okay, sorry. All right, send the emails to Kevin if you're offended.
He's in Texas. Kevin in Texas at kvjshow.com.
You sound like a misogynist.
Kevin will read all the offended emails. I will not. But again, what was I talking about?
Lonely people.
Yeah, lonely people. They go in there. I can see how this could develop.
First symptom of loneliness, the mind. It goes.
right.
It starts going.
Can't remember nothing.
Take me off this microphone right now.
Let me read you one last bizarre story here before we rack up.
You
the
should,
news.
because it's only been a 45-minute whacked out.
All right. It spurs conversation. That's what the whacked out news is all about.
The longest whacked out news.
So, in a random story here, a truck stop camel was prescribed antibiotics because a woman bit it.
Dennys.
Oh, how do you not? We talked about this
We
story
did that
twice.
You guys did this one?
story.
It just said it.
Yes.
Twice? Yeah, we talked about it twice, man.
Looks like you're getting the shocker.
I got to start listening to the KVJ show.
From the WRMF, this is 97.9 WRMF Palm Beach.
It's the KVJ show on 97.9 WRMF. Kevin's out all week. It's the VJD show back in the house.
Where's Kevin, Virginia?
He's in Texas, where I think they appreciate big hair. So him and his fake big hair, they love.
Needs to tease that thing up.
He's got to make it real tall.
Danny, I got to tell you, was it yesterday where you were talking about shrimp?
2 days ago.
We got a lot of feedback on people either A, making fun of you about having the lamest hobby of all time, or people who support you saying, yeah, I raise shrimp as well.
Yeah, a lot of people. We had some calls, we got some emails, we even got some texts. I tried to get back to everybody about it. Yeah, some people are showing some interest.
Shrimp in the tank are adorable, and they're fun to watch.
They are.
They are very mesmerizing. I think they're even more fascinating. Are shrimp the new fish?
I think they are because they're super low pressure to have, too.
So people were saying basically the hate comments for Dennys, you're talking about basically glorified sea monkeys. This is something that's been around since the 50s.
I'll show on Kvj TV here. If you look, there's a picture. I'll show a video here, too. I took some video as well.
Somebody took some time with that picture.
I almost feel bad for enjoying Scampi so much.
Yeah, these little guys are they're cool. They're unique because they're one of the few shrimp that can live in harsh climates. So that's why they make a great pet, and they're super low maintenance because they don't really require much. They already grow in they're bred in a very harsh place to live. It's in Hawaii off the volcanic reefs.
So what's their name again, this breed?
The Opeula. So what's the red Hawaiian shrimp?
What's different than that than a sea monkey? By the way, big fan of sea monkeys. Always had them as a kid.
So these are like the big boy version of the sea monkeys because so they're in the same vein where they're easy to take care of. I believe sea monkeys are brine shrimp, so they're very tiny and they're almost like what large creatures eat as they travel. And these are only in Hawaii. They're only one type of small shrimp.
I asked you a couple months ago if kids still like sea monkeys and, are they into it? And I bought a kid sea monkeys after. We got into an argument. No, Virginia, kids like sea monkeys. So I bought this kid sea monkeys for his birthday. He didn't like them.
Aww.
Kids don't like seeing sea monkeys now?
Mags had sea monkeys. She loved them.
They were cool.
But Mags is 14 now.
That's
she
true.
liked them like 11 years ago.
She liked him when she was 5.
Well, do you think in 2019 kids that are 5 years old right now like sea monkeys? Do you think?
I hope they do.
Yeah, I've seen them at. They have them at novelty stores. You can still buy them, or like toy stores sometimes.
Yeah, I think you just got maybe a rotten kid. Most kids would enjoy getting the gift of sea monkeys.
The kid was kind of annoying.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's a different story.
I blame the parents.
That's a different story.
Just for the text chat that may have missed it, I used to have one of those self-contained ecosystems with these 4 shrimp in it, and then I read that it was kind of like not good for them, so I felt bad, and I broke the globe open and made a tank.
You broke them out.
I freed them.
You jailbroke them.
I jailbroke them with a glass cutter, and I put them in a tank that was large enough to support them. And now I'm trying to breed some shrimp. I'm trying to get some shrimp babies going.
Check some of the text comments out. Well, Dennys, you have the lamest hobby.
I did get called out for it.
Does Dennys have the lamest hobby out there? What's lamer? Dennys breeding and loving on a shrimp, or me doing my toy art, where I set up my toys and I put them in little scenes. I was even buying different doll furniture, so Chewbacca can sit at a table having pizza with Han Solo.
You're definitely more lame.
That's more lame.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel
Dennys
like,
is creating life.
Yeah, and
he's creating an ecosystem, and he wants to breed them and give them babies and a happy little shrimp family.
Well, weirdly, it's profoundly changed my life as I've watched. So I know it sounds like a big thing from just collecting some shrimp.
You're preparing to become a dad.
Well, as I watched it people bear with me here, but I look at it as it's an entire world where these things know nothing of the outside, of that there's a giant person just staring at them all day, just watching them and tending to them. And it makes me think, outside, what are we?
We do have to address this question. No, Dennys is not high. He's not allowed to smoke weed before the show.
It's illegal.
It's illegal. You can't be high.
This is just pure love for
Your
the creature.
God to those shrimp. Who's God watching us?
That's what I'm saying. So it almost puts into perspective that to those shrimp, that's all they know is that world, and this is all the only world we know. So it just kind of puts you in a spot where, and who knows what the actual answer is. Just to think about it, that there's possibly something bigger than all of us here.
We are the shrimp, Denny.
We're the shrimp.
Why are we here? No, I know it sounds like I'm kidding, but I've always asked that question. I know we always go down this road. We start getting deep. But since I was a kid,
don't think about it, Shrimpy.
It's hard not to. How can you not?
You're a shrimp too.
But how can you not think about just the fact that we're here, we just appear, and we just go on with our daily routine.
You're not going to get the answers.
We worry about the dumbest stuff, and there's all this deeper stuff going on around us. You know, we wake up every morning, the sun is out there, it's just there. We don't question it, it's just there.
Well, we accept it now as common. But I mean, if you think about it, it's pretty wild that there's a planet, you know, that rotates around a central focal point.
Floating ball in the middle of space, and no one knows why, and then we come out of our mother?
yeah.
It's weird, man. I'm
pretty
sorry.
We are the shrimp.
So the shrimp is kind of like a glimpse into that. It's a metaphor for life because you watch them just working away at their lives, and then you think as a human, we have the ability to step back and to separate us from the tasks that we have to do in order to keep the machine of society moving.
Anybody saying that shrimp farming is lame, they just don't know the game.
Shrimping ain't easy, dog.
It's not. It's not. And neither is toy art, Dennys. Toy art's a little tough when you have coworkers that make fun of you. Do you have any hobbies?
All the stuff I do is cool.
Okay, well, let's us be the judge of this. What's your hobbies?
Probably cooking.
I mean, that's such a... we all cook.
I mean, that's the biggest thing that I do outside of child rearing.
Okay, but let's we get that you're busy with being a mom. But if there's no kids involved and there's nobody saying, all right, Virginia, you got to do this or do that, what is a cozy little activity you love to drink or do other than drinking? that's a fun hobby. You don't have a hobby?
Travel.
And so I'd say your love of celebrities would be a hobby of yours. You
Yeah.
almost kind of not hunt celebrities, but you hunt for stories about celebrities. You like to know the dirt, the gossip, the juice.
Thank you for bringing that up because you're right. She does have the lamest hobby. Are we taking a break, Dennys?
No, let's take a call.
Okay, we got Julio on line 1. Just wants to troll Dennys and ask him about smoking. Okay.
Oh, all right, Julio, what's up?
No, I was just, I don't want to ask him about smoking. I just want to know what he's smoking because for the last, 5 minutes of listening to him, I'm like, what in the world am I listening to? Dennys, you're the best, dude. I love it.
But Julio, are you getting some knowledge from it? Because I feel like we are.
I am. He kind of worked me into his little zone there, and then I drive and I got to wake myself up. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Dennys, you hypnotizing people.
Bird just hit his tooth on the microphone.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Julio, I agree with you. We don't know what's happening. You can tell Kevin is out of town.
If you want, you can go ahead, text us in, or give us a call at 877-979-9763 with all your lame hobbies. Tell us what you got going out there.
Feel free to call us if you want to chime in on anything we're talking about ever,
I
please.
mean, we're recovering from that mind bomb Dennys just dropped about shrimp. He's got people talking good and bad, Virginia.
I am thinking a lot about shrimp now and reconsidering my love of their taste in butter.
Well, we got a text message that came in. It says, Kevin's gone for one day, and Dennys turns the show into a self-reflective, existential talk about shrimp.
I mean, look, it's got us thinking, brother.
It does.
People are also letting us know their lame hobbies. There might be some lamer ones that, although a lot of people are giving me a hard time about having toy art.
Feel free to text your lame stuff in or call in 877-979-WRMF.
We got Alex on line 1 from Boynton Beach. Alex, what is your lame hobby?
So my lame hobby is sewing. My kids are like, Mom, that's so boring. But you know what? I think about sewing. I'm like, it's a piece of thread that came from probably this plant, and then I'm making this awesome shirt out of it. It's like this whole evolution of this thread getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like the shrimp, and I'm looking at this. I'm totally on the trip that you guys are on while I'm sewing.
Yeah, why are we here?
No?
Oh, I love it.
I get it.
And you get your sew on. So I could see if you're good at sewing, how that could be kind of meditative and cozy.
Sewing's awesome.
Yeah, it is, because you get a product at the end of it, too.
It's weird. Sometimes I hate folding laundry. I hate doing cleaning things. But sweeping a floor with music on in the background can be very relaxing for me. Does that make sense? Or am I losing the room?
No, absolutely. I think there's something to be had about vacuuming and sweeping. Something that makes you stop what you're doing, and you're doing a monotonous motion, but you're thinking in your head. I think all of that's essential. I think that's why a lot of people think while they drive.
Talking about the whole shrimp thing, a lot of people, now when I say a lot, 10 people have texted, the theory of, oh yeah, we are We are just little shrimp like you guys are talking. Aliens created us, and they're just watching us like a video game. We've gotten several comments like that.
So the aliens are the ones watching us, and we're the shrimp?
We do get that because we do the Weird Whatever podcast, and a lot of times we'll get some trippy theories, and there's a small percentage that think we are descendants from aliens, and that they're just kind of, we're an experiment from aliens, and they're just kind of watching their own experiment.
Are you sure it's aliens and not God?
Well, I think it's
some sort of outside figure of some being.
And I don't want to get controversial.
Whether it be a god or aliens or whatever it be, there's some sort of force that put us here and then watches.
But I think there's two different things there. I think what you're talking about, there are a great deal of people who believe that God created us, but there's also a group of people that think we are descendants of an alien species, and that they, are watching us.
It's a mind bomb either way.
Well, so and this one's crazy. Think about it. But there's a
Is
theory.
this gonna get us more hate calls?
Probably.
Good.
So there's a theory that a spaceship came to the planet and then it crash landed or it landed, whatever it be, in some sort of distress, and people had to start fresh on this new planet, right? And over time, they forgot their roots from growing up and then evolving and creating new technologies and having to start over. We forgot about our past. And that's why we're born from aliens, and we're actually we've been here this whole time. It's a theory.
Yeah,
it's a theory out there. I know it's pretty wild.
People are texting, you guys are being sacrilegious right now, but no, this is just a theory that's out there. We're not saying it's right or wrong. We're just letting you know people are texting us, these theories.
Absolutely. I don't know if I believe it 100% either. It's literally just a theory that I've read about.
It's fun to talk about, too. Like, don't you like hearing what other people believe?
I do. I love it.
I just like listening and going, well, I guess that could be possible. What do I know?
Well, there's some people who believe, everyone your pet, you go to heaven. There's other people who believe that nothing happens. There's other people who believe in reincarnation. And like you, Virginia, I'm fascinated by what people believe.
Because really, we only know what we're taught. And especially how you're taught when you're growing up. And if you were raised a religion or if you were raised a certain way, you think that that's the way. But really, honestly, how do you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I think I agree with Dennys. Shrimping ain't easy.
Shrimping certainly ain't easy.
Look what it spawned.
Do you want to watch the KVJ Show live or on demand? Find us on youtube.com/KVJ Show.
It's the KVJ Show, 97.9 WRMF, where we're giving away $5K every day. In case you don't know, be here at 7:10 every morning. We're going to tell you the 3 songs to listen for later in the day. And when you hear them replayed later in the day, you call us, be caller number 9, and you pick up $5,000.
What would you do with $5,000 if you had it right now? And it's not bills for the kids. It's something that you can spend on just pure whatever.
Play money only.
Play money only.
No bills.
$5,000. What do? You have today to spend it.
Just today?
Just today.
Oh my gosh. I would probably, Mags has been wanting a golf cart for forever.
They are so fun.
They're so expensive.
They're cool now, too.
They're cool.
You can soup them up, too. There's some kind of button on there that you can make them go really fast, and they are so much fun.
Play money, I would get Mags a golf cart, and we would have some fun.
You'd probably get a good one for that price, too. You'd probably get a solid.
And I would terrorize all the golfers in my neighborhood that basically stopped me from getting my pool. I see you.
Do you have a lot of drunk golfers out there? Do you notice a lot of guys? Because when I worked at the golf club, these guys would be. They would stay at the bar,
get annihilated,
pounded for an hour at the bar. They come out smelling like a brewery. Then they get in their carts, and you were never allowed to say anything because they were the members. And they were rich, and they could buy or sell you.
I don't see a lot of drunks, although I did see some old people driving the lake one time right behind my house. They literally drove their golf cart into the lake.
At one of, because I worked at 3 golf courses, and all of them were fancy, and there was one guy who was hammered. Everybody knew he was hammered, and he wrapped the golf cart. He drove into a shed, destroyed the shed, destroyed the golf cart, and the people who worked there covered it up. Because he was such a rich member.
I believe it.
Rich.
When I was Max's age, I wanted a golf cart so bad. It's just so cool to
It's
drive
just
around.
so cool, yeah, because she's not quite old enough to be driving yet. Although we did take her for her first lesson behind, the grocery store, the abandoned parking lot.
Yeah, that's where I did my first lesson.
Is she 15?
She's 14 and a half.
Yeah, it's here, man. Mags is going to be driving.
Next
She's going to
year.
be driving us around.
She's going to be driving next year.
So she'll have, at 15 is her learner's permit, right? So
Right.
she can drive around as long as you're accompanied by an adult.
Is it still the same way? Because when I got my learner's permit, so my birthday's in May, and I was 15 and I got it at the last month of my birthday, but I just studied. I had only been driving on the road for about 3 weeks, and then they gave me my driver's license. I had 3 weeks of experience, and then I got my license. They don't do that now, do they?
I don't know. I think it's all about when you go in there and get it, because if you want to have a learner's permit for a long time, you can.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you want to go right in there when you're 16 and get your license, I think you can do that too.
I mean, I should not have gotten my license. I was so virginal on the road.
Yeah, they should retest you now.
Oh, you are right, because I'm not that good of a driver.
So do you think 16 is too young for people to be driving, or you think they...
No, I don't.
I don't.
I think it's good.
I think it's good age, too.
I do think if you're in the military, when it comes to age and all that stuff, if you're 18 years of age and you are in the military, you, my friend, deserve a beer. You should not have to wait till you're 21 to get an alcohol. You're gonna say you're okay, you're allowed to fight for our country, but you can't get a sud in you. That's ridiculous.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with
Can
that.
I get
It probably...
a USA?
What?
USA?
Who?
USA. Let's get drunk.
Probably the confusion that would come with that. There was a time frame where it was 18 to drink, and then they changed the law to 21.
When I grew up-
there was a weird period where people would be able to drink and then not be able to drink.
In Louisiana, the drinking age was 18.
Is it that way now?
No. But when I went to college, it was 18. When I grew up in New Orleans, it was 18. So we all had IDs at the age of 15 that said we were 18, and it wasn't that far of a stretch.
You had a fakie?
Now, imagine if you have an ID at 15 that says you're 21. Okay, that's a stretch.
Yeah.
But 15 to 18, I mean, I had several fake IDs. Mm-hmm. My mom kept finding them and throwing them away.
Did you have a fake ID?
Oh, I think the day I turned 16.
Really? I was such a goody two shoes. I mean, I didn't even think about drinking until the end of my freshman year in college, and I felt so guilty. Oh my gosh.
Well, you've made up for it.
Oh yeah.
Well, so the old Florida licenses were different. So now I don't know how you would do it.
Now it's too tricky to do it. Back in the day, you could absolutely do it, but now they've got like holograms and stuff.
Yeah.
Because of kids like us,
Yeah.
we ruined it for the next generation of forgery.
The other thing I couldn't believe that they had up in northern Florida, and I've heard you talk about it, was they would sell like a drive-through alcohol through. I could not believe people were able.
There's a place in Jupiter. It's called Craft Beer City, and it's got a drive-through, and it reminds me so much of Louisiana. In fact, one of the guys that was in there was from Louisiana.
But they're not giving you an actual drink in a cup, right?
They could. I think they have to give it to you sealed.
Yeah,
Because-
It has to be sealed.
So there was a drink called Purple Passion, and everybody loved it. And there was a drive-through that they were selling them to. Now this is like the mid '90s. There's no way that could exist today.
That still exists in Louisiana. It's called drive-through daiquiri shops. And when you drive through, as the driver, you can get a daiquiri. But what they do is they put a piece of Scotch tape on the straw top
So
or
you
the
can't drink from it.
top. Like the Scotch tape is going to stop you.
How does that not cause more drama?
Everybody does it. Everybody laughs about it. It's just like,
Is Louisiana and New Orleans just a bunch of pirates?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. It's a different breed.
So a tip from Magnolia, I guess the rule now is that you must have your learner's permit for 1 year. So they say make sure she gets it right when she turns 15. Otherwise, she'll have a period where you have to wait.
That was not the rule for
It
me.
wasn't. I think it's a newer rule. So they're like, make sure she goes and gets it because otherwise she's going to have to carry over a couple days later or however long you wait.
Gotcha.
It has to be 1 year.
I mean, I was doing my driving test, and I mean, I was shaking a little bit because I really didn't drive that much, and somehow I passed. I think my guy was drunk.
Yeah, our test is a little bit different because we don't. I guess they make you parallel park, but they don't necessarily. You're not graded on it.
Parallel parking's so overrated. If you can't parallel park, that does not mean you don't. You still deserve a license, right?
Well, we don't have that. It's not as common down here unless you're in like a downtown area.
I'm
So-
always parallel parking, I feel like, but I'm always downtown.
Yeah, downtown has it, but like a lot of places don't have it here. Up north, I swear every spot is a parallel parking spot. So I don't know if it's just different.
I don't know what to tell you. So, Virginia, you have to leave?
I do. I got to go bring Rocco to the dentist.
I mean, we are just barely hanging out. We have nobody to answer phones. Suits is barely doing KVJ TV. He's doing KVJ TV and traffic without anybody back there. And now you're leaving?
Now I'm leaving you.
So it's just me and Dennys talking.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to get real
yeah.
weird.
Have fun.
The KVJ show. Virginia is leaving us. Kevin's in Texas, and it's all going to hell. No, I'm just kidding. You're leaving now, Mama?
Yes, I'm leaving now.
So we're doing the podcast, just me and Dennys, too?
You are.
Ay, ay, ay.
It's going to be all shrimp talk.
The After the Show podcast will just be Dennys, myself, and some shrimp talk. We got this one comment from someone who sent us an email. They said, did you guys see that thing going around on social media called Rent a Friend? Now, the email's kind of long, so I shortened it down a bit. But it's basically a concept, rentafriend.com. It's got friends around the world available for hire, Dennys. You rent a friend to attend a social event, a wedding, or a party with you. I was reading up on it. Isn't that kind of sad a little bit?
Yeah, but you know, even on the show, we've had topics where people have called in saying like they need somebody to go with them so they're not embarrassed, you know? So this kind of seems like a service, but it almost seems sadder because I just pulled up the website as you were talking about it, rentafriend.com, and I feel sad almost for the people who are friends because it's like you're almost picking them from a lineup. I feel like feelings could get hurt.
Well, the part that so they have a list of all the activities you can rent a friend for, and on there, one of the leading ones is prom dates. So that means high schoolers are renting friends. That's sad.
It says hanging out, going to the bar, checking out comedy clubs. If you're going to the park, they'll even go to church with you, tutoring. They'll go bowling, clubbing.
Okay, anybody listening right now, have you ever used Rent a Friend? Or have you ever had somebody you didn't know go in place of a friend and you had to act like, okay, yeah, this is my good buddy, and you don't know them?
So you want to solicit for people to call in? Yeah, all right.
I don't think we'll get one person.
Yeah, and when did this start up?
I don't know. I know a bunch of people have sent this to us, so apparently, and I don't know if it's a new thing, but for whatever reason, they put some promotion behind it because it's everywhere on social media.
Yeah, I've been seeing it pop up too. But so here's the list of people that you can rent as friends. You can literally pick from the parameters of their age, interest, what they look like, who they hang out with already. There's a whole parameters.
Should we rent out Suits?
I think that's a pretty good idea. Rent Suits out.
Suits, are you cool renting yourself out? Okay, I think he said yeah. All right, so if anyone wants a friend, maybe...
Look at him. Yeah, he's like, all right.
If you want to go to a movie and you don't have anyone to go with, and this isn't even about romance. This is just about, I think, having just someone there to talk to.
Somebody goes, I think I've heard of this website. It's called Rent a Murder Victim. They're having we're in a look at Uber and Lyft. I mean, they have companies now where total strangers are coming up and driving you. How's this much different, right?
It's really not. I mean, other listings they got going to a bar, so you'd have to rent a friend to go have drinks with you at the bar, and then the fake friend has to act like they're into what you're saying.
Yeah, here's another weird one. Workout partner. Like, are you excited if you get if you get invited to be a workout partner?
No, I'm not excited if my real friends want to work out, let alone my fake ones.
They say company for chores, like to have company while you're running chores. Like, would you ever want to be a friend for that?
Well, someone texted us in. They said, well, wouldn't this be a good service for a kid in like elementary school that has no friends? You can rent an adult to walk them to school. But my only thing about that would be if you put more... If you highlight the fact that the kid doesn't have any friends and now you're bringing someone else in there, does it make it worse or does it make it better for the kid?
Probably makes it worse. Looks like we got some calls coming in here. Maybe this is somebody who possibly has used the service.
Okay, we've got Jamie or Jami. I can't read Suits' handwriting.
I think it's Jami.
Jami, line 1, Port St. Lucie. Are you there?
I'm here. It's Jamie.
Okay.
I thought it was Jami.
We thought it was Jami. As you were?
I used it as my +1 for my sister's wedding. It's pretty fun.
Okay, so why did you not use another person? Why did you not have anybody in your personal life, or was it just there was drama and you didn't want to deal with that?
I didn't want to deal with that. Not only that, but I had to fly out to Nevada, right outside of Las Vegas and Paradise, and it's very popular there. and we used it. Me and a couple of my buddies used it, but it was pretty simple. I mean, everybody when there goes through like a kind of like a verified background check, so you know who you're getting.
All right, so it
Okay,
does have some precautions.
But what do they act like? Do they try to really act like they're your friend? Do they try too hard? Because I feel like some people could nail this, and then some people could force it.
No, for me, it was very simple. I picked up the individual, and then from there we just told them what we were doing, and they kind of knew what we were doing. They knew we were going to a wedding beforehand. It's kind of like Uber. You can call your Uber, find out where they're at or whatever when Uber first came out. But it was pretty simple. And then once we got there, it was pretty much hit it off, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It was really simple and smooth sailing.
Very nice.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
We're also renting out suits. Are you into that? Would you like to rent suits for a day?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
that's
stay on
all-
the line. We'll
yeah. He'll do your taxes, he'll hang out, and he'll tell you about cruise ships.
KVJ Show is all over social media. Find us Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
It's the KVJ Show. You got Jbird and Dennys hanging out. We're down a few men. Virginia's gone. Kevin is gone. But that's okay. We're still making it happen, Dennys. Barely.
Yeah, we're trying to keep the lights on.
So during commercial break, we did have a lot of people text us about not only Rent a Friend. We were talking about Rent a Friend, where it's this service. If you're new in the area or if you're just lonely, you can go to this service and rent a friend for whether you want to go to a dance or the movies or go get a drink at a bar. A lot of people think it's basically rent a murderer. But we did have someone call in and said, no, guys, they do background check and everything. This is a comment I thought was interesting. So you know how they do the Rent a Friend? They also have that cuddle service. We've talked about that before. Locally, you can cuddle with a stranger. This is what one of the text messages said. Hey, y'all, I have totally rented someone to cuddle with. I gained weight and was very lonely. It turned weird because I started talking about my problems during the cuddle session and started crying. I felt really bad for the person working for the cuddle service. You'd have to imagine if you're doing things like cuddling with a stranger or renting a
Something
friend,
intimate
something
like
it
that.
weird.
Yeah, the cuddling with a stranger, I could see there's lines crossed because, I mean, so you're renting a friend, there's probably rules set. You can't do this and this, that's fine. But with cuddling, it kind of blurs those lines, right? Because that's so intimate.
So there are some people who think cuddling is an innocent thing, and I agree.
I totally agree.
But
if
there
you
are-
can keep it innocent.
There are some people they just like the touch of a person. I don't see how people are shocked that the cuddling service could turn weird.
Yeah, I don't see. I think I agree with you that could absolutely turn weird. Now, do I feel like that should be something? Because I know they have those hug therapies. Have you seen that? Where you go to therapy, you don't even really talk. It's more so that a person just hugs you and embraces you.
Would that be weird for you?
Yes.
You go in there to get all of your emotions out.
I don't know if I need that level of.
Somebody just hugging you.
Well, so I think people are all different. Some people require, not constant, that's a bad word, but they require praise throughout their life in order to keep their esteem high. And some people,
like a Michael Scott from The Office.
yes, he requires it. And some people don't require it. Some people need physical touch in order for their esteem to raise.
It's like
and some people don't.
The love languages.
So for me, I don't necessarily need that personal touch. I'd be at like a 40% on personal touch. More so the actual, I just need the interaction of somebody understanding what I'm trying to tell them.
I mean, how much does a hugger therapist? I feel like I could handle that gig. Animal psychic and hugger, professional hugger, two things I think I could do.
Well, so I guess if you attach the title of therapist to it, there must be some level of education required to be a hug therapist.
All right, maybe.
But if you were just a person like a rent-a-friend who just gives out hugs, then I don't think you need that qualification.
Okay, a hug counselor. I think you get away.
I think you could get away with a hug counselor.
I have been to counselors before that they claim they're a counselor of something, and they've got no kind of credibility behind their name whatsoever.
Yeah. So I wonder if that does more harm than good, right?
Have you ever been to a therapist, like an actual psychiatrist?
Not really. I went once and through school because I had behavioral issues as a kid.
Dennys is bad.
It wasn't necessarily that I was mean or malicious to anyone. It was more so that insubordinance, I would say, was my big offender.
And they made you go to a therapist?
Like a counseling therapy type thing.
My school, they called my parents in and said, yeah, we really think your son needs to go to therapy. So it was kind of suggested by the school as well for me.
So was your therapy for what? what drew their attention to it?
Because I was talking about it yesterday. It was
with the snapping
I was
in the
afraid
ears.
I was going deaf, and I would start to snap my ear, snap towards my ear constantly during class. And during that same time period, I was learning about religion, and I thought everything, like I had to constantly say I love you to God and blow kisses to God, and I would do that in the middle of class as like a 7-year-old, and it was, you could imagine how distracting that was for the other kids.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, they're like, I think your son needs to go see somebody.
See, I got in trouble because I had missed whatever the amount of days that you're allowed to miss in high school. I had hit that quota, and it was unknown to my parents. It was because I was cutting class, and so I got busted for it. And then so when they added up the days, I don't know when this rule passed, but somewhere in the 2001 era, they passed a rule that if you miss a certain amount of days, you have to do like a counseling, and you have to do something else to prove to the teachers that, I don't know, whatever it was.
You're emotionally stable, maybe.
I got roped into that. Yeah, there has to be some sign off that if you miss a certain amount of days, you have to. Some parent has to sign off on something, and you have to do something.
It was not.
That's what I got roped in with.
Yeah, so I just got out. I think I just got through that whole phase where I escaped block scheduling, because block scheduling, I had never experienced block scheduling. And do kids still do that now? Is that what they do?
So I was in that phase where block scheduling got big, but it got big like a year into me being in school. So I did 1 year normal, and then the next year we were on block schedule for the rest of my entire high school career.
I thought the idea of block scheduling was horrible. The idea of being in math class for 3 hours compared to 45 minutes?
I believe it comes out to like 2 hours and 20 minutes or something. Yeah.
I mean, how am I going to learn about algebra? And you're going to be
Yeah, but on
doodling.
the flip, so I was one of the few people that liked block scheduling, because on the flip end, and not to go against you, but on the flip end, I felt like classes were so short before. We would squeeze 9 of them into a day. So I mean, our classes were like 50 minutes. So by the time everybody cooled off, sat down, you only had 30 minutes of learning before you had to leave. So it was a lot more homework, I found. So I mean, I kind of like the less homework.
Hug counselors, block scheduling. This is what we talk about when everyone's gone.
Oh, this is all the greatness.
We are literally wrapping up the show right now. We're going to be doing the After the Show podcast. It's just going to be me and Dennys. Do we have Talina here yet?
Yeah. We could even get suits up in here.
We get suits up in here. Yeah, we thank you guys for your patience. Unfortunately, a good 2.5 hours of our show, the phones didn't work. We didn't have people behind the scenes, so we're barely getting across, but we are barely limping across, I should say. But we appreciate y'all sticking with us.
Sticking with us. Kevin is out in Texas at the moment, so he'll be back on Monday. Till then, you got the VJD, and currently you just got the J and the D.
Yeah, do you want a little bit of that thought of the day?
Yeah, man. Close it out with something real peaceful for us.
All right. We'll go old school, Dennys. Your thought of the day is this: faith. Faith is the bird that feels the light when the dawn is still dark. Oh, that's so dumb, Jason. I was just doing the role.
Yeah, I like the poetic ones. I'm not like the guys. I like to think deep, I liked your closing thought.
After the Show podcast coming up next.
You know how you hear people on the radio and you're like, I wonder what they look like when they're saying that. I wish I could see them. Well, you can. We're right there on youtube.com/KVJ Show.